welcome.
And we are live. This is episode 100. That means 100 of FSP, Fun Speculation Podcast. Thank you to everyone in this community who tunes into any of our shows every week. And you all rock, whether it be PM in the PM or Xbox Ultimate Podcast or little old FSP. This show actually, I didn't know what it was gonna come of it or whatever, but it seems to like be up there with PM in the PM and Xbox Ultimate for you guys, and I just greatly appreciate everybody who's had anything to do with our content and our show and helping it get to this being our third show now on the channel to actually hit 100. So that's pretty cool, and you guys rock. So thank you, community. Thank you, chat, and to the panel as well. And we got an awesome panel today. We're still missing Jasper. He's in this limbo state right now. And once he's out of that, he might be coming back every once in a while or so. But right now it's past his bedtime. So shout out to Jasper, who is in our DMs again. So he exists and he is still alive. And he's been a big part of this channel and this show for a long time. So shout out to Jasper. But we also have Bob making a rare Monday appearance tonight. What's up, Bob? Game Pass Dad played some Halo last night. How you doing?
Yeah, good to be here for the 100th episode. Got to put our yo-yo-yos up for Jasper.
Yo.
Hopefully he'll be back. But yeah, I've been meaning to stop by on a Monday again. And what better day to do it than on the 100th episode of FSP? Definitely fantastic thing that you're doing, and appreciate you letting me be a part of it.
Yeah, man. It's good to have you here. I love your energy whenever you're able to hop on the show, bringing some of that twitchiness here a little bit to the YouTube realms.
I don't know if I'm young enough to bring the twitchiness. I'm definitely not on enough drugs to be twitching, so
maybe you'll be tweaking a little bit. Just tweaking.
God forbid. That would mean a lot of things went downhill for me.
But before we move on, I gotta ask you something real quick.
Yeah.
I saw you post an update to your tree video, or to your tree picture, where you had a soccer ball stuck in a tree, and you went to Lowe's and bought a pole.
Yeah,
was it successful? Were you able to get the ball?
So some background for those of you who didn't see my tweet. Sunday, I was at the park. Like, my daughter's been playing soccer. She's 5 years old and she's doing great at it. So I like to kick around the ball with her when we're whenever we have some spare time outside. And she likes it when I drop kick it. And right next to the soccer field we go to, there's these big pine trees. And I was kicking it from the high field to the low field, and I accidentally kicked it 30 feet up into a tree. And that made her real sad. I went and bought her another ball, which she picked out a random one from a bin, which I thought was going to be cheaper. I was going to let her get an expensive one, but turned out she picked out the most expensive one. It was a $40 ball. But she was all right with it, still kind of bummed. So this morning I went to go see if it was still up there. Sure enough, it was. Still couldn't get it down by throwing sticks at it. So I got a 25-foot extension pole from Lowe's and got that thing down. But sure enough, it was still about a foot short from how high it was. I couldn't quite reach it. So I kind of had to like rest it on a branch and javelin it a little bit. And about the fourth or fifth try, it popped out of there. But I was sitting there shaking the branch with a part I could touch. And like that thing, like I was so worried that a wind would like catch it, and then someone would find the ball. And I was like telling her, well, maybe someone will find it and they'll enjoy it just as much as you did. But sure enough, that thing would not have blown down from that tree. If I hadn't poked it out of there, it'd probably be up there for years. But we got it back. She was super happy. And fuck nature, we solved it.
Yeah, I kind of sympathize a little bit because my daughter was kind of the same. A couple years back, she was really into like going out, kicking the ball against the fence and stuff in the backyard.
Yeah,
right.
Magnum said, "Throw your daughter at it."
That could always work. She could just grab it and catch her on the way down.
If it wasn't so high, I probably would have let her try and climb and grab it. But it was like literally 35 feet up in the tree.
It looked like a tall tree, bro.
I thought like, because it's not only like a tall tree, but it's also like on a 10-foot like incline, like in like a little hill. So we're on the low side of it. But yeah, throw your daughter at it. But yeah, sorry.
Swing around and do like a
like a foxtail situation. Yeah, I felt like like you ever feel like you're being a good dad, spending time with your kids, and then immediately just do something stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
Did she
I
get
felt like a
upset when the
bad
tree
dad.
got when it got stuck?
Yeah, it was like a birthday present from my stepdad or like a Christmas present, and we've only like gone to the soccer field like 5 times or
Right.
so this spring. So she was kind of hysterical at first, but we still had a good weekend and she was still happy. So
That's good. Yeah. We in my backyard, where our back fence is like on a retaining wall, right?
yeah.
So it's like on this stone retaining wall, and there's the back fence, and there's nothing but fields behind us, and our back fence
Hmm.
is connected to everybody else's in the neighborhood, and we live like in the middle of the street. So there's
Yeah.
like probably about like 1,000 feet in each direction of fence. So there's
Yeah.
no, my fat ass isn't going to climb the retaining wall on a fence. And even if I
Yeah.
could, getting back over like 15 feet drop down, I'm not really all for that, right? So
Right.
uh she was really into kicking the balls and stuff for a few years back, and either volleyball and hitting it, or kicking the soccer balls against the fence. And then she
Yeah.
got really too good, and she started just launching them over the fence like all the
Yeah.
time. And I was like, you got to stop doing that, because there's no way I'm going to, like, I'm not walking like a mile behind the fence and going
Right.
through this construction area behind just to go find these balls. She's like,
Yeah.
okay. And then she just kept doing it and doing it. So like I kept buying new balls, and she just kept launching them over. But like one day, they like mowed the fields back there, and I went
Yeah.
back. There was like 10 balls just in our backyard. I guess they just assumed they were all ours, so they threw them into our backyard.
Oh,
So
that's nice.
yeah,
That must have been like Christmas then.
yeah. I was like, what? Holy balls! They're all here.
She's like, I have so much more ammunition now.
Yeah. And I did take, like, the next day there was like 2 or 3 of them back over the fence.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Especially if it's a situation where you can't just drive over there and
Yeah,
like
no
get
way.
them.
Yeah, I'd have to literally walk through like rattlesnake country to get
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
balls.
yeah. Yeah, fuck that noise.
Yeah. How you doing, Fuzz? Thanks for being here, man.
Oh, thanks for having me. Doing great. And here we go. Got the camera going.
Oh,
But
you're awake.
oh yeah. Yeah, it was just one of those midday naps that went a little bit past the midday, but
Yeah, I would say so.
yeah, for the most
9,
part,
10,
glad
9,
to
or what, 10, 10. Yeah, it's a little bit for you, a little bit past midday. It's okay though.
be
He's still got
yeah,
his
it's like it's
getting
past my
done
bedtime.
flannel on.
Man, retired life, bro. Retired life. I'm gonna take a nap at, I don't know, 7 p.m. and see what happens.
I guess it's
But
more dangerous the older you get.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Kind of lose time, lose track of time and things like that. But man, glad to be here with you guys. Been watching Twitter, been watching this Free Stella Blade thing. Like, I don't know, man.
Freestyle yams.
Dude, the videos of the people that signed the petition had me absolutely dying, bro.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Well, you
That's
guys,
classic.
I
That's
really,
comedy.
my name is Jeffrey, and I really hope that this petition goes through, because I like boobies, and we just need to have more of boobies in the games, and this cannot be happening here. But like, I see people kick back on like what's going on with this, and then like the amount of comments, people are like, no, censorship is so bad, and all this stuff. Like, you guys are being taken advantage of by this this guy. That same guy that started that is the same one that made a big deal about the Starfield start screen.
Yeah.
And he had some other crazy bad takes. He's been known for being like a racist in the past as well, and all these other things. And like all these people are like just on board with this guy right now. And I'm looking at it. I just can't comprehend what the hell's going on. But then I see the videos of the people that actually posted those clips, and I understand.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've never seen a vagina,
Awkward.
so you know.
They
It's
paid
all
for a
in
lot of
the
Andrew
name of
Tate
digital
seminars.
physics.
They were lied to. They thought it was going to be in Stellar Blade,
Sorry, Posey.
their first one. So
Well, they're so worried about censorship, but isn't it like if you get to New Game Plus, you can just like unlock like way more revealing outfits? Like,
I think so.
Like,
So they just got to play the game more. That's all it is. Just play more.
they got to wait till the autoplay feature comes out for that.
Damn it! I
Sony-
want to crank it to pixelated tatas on launch day. Okay, I need that cleave,
How are they
or else
gonna
it just doesn't work.
How are they gonna play the game when they can't use a controller because their hands are busy? Fuzz.
We need the Sony autoplay feature so we can play with one hand.
I've never played with my left hand before. This is pretty crazy.
Oh, I gotta make that into a
Oh.
short.
Yeah.
Thank God for the patent. Now we know why the patent exists.
Mhm. They're like, we better hurry up and get this thing going.
Just sitting there like this.
That's why they censored it. They had to tone things down until they get the autoplay feature working.
Yeah, yeah. No, it makes sense. The whole Pornhub and and it's just crazy. Like I don't even think at my most like teenage horny wet dream in the middle of the night craziness, I don't even think I would have been like part of this petition or whatever, but I don't know. Good on those that joined, and you could tell some of them are like totally trolling, but the ones that aren't
Yeah.
trolling,
The ones that live in
luck
mom's
in
basement.
life.
Good thing censorship didn't exist.
Meatloaf.
Mom, where's the pizza rolls?
Good thing censorship
Southern
didn't exist for
Play
the
Design.
Better Live beach volleyball demo. I enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
I was like 13. I'm just like, whoa, I love volleyball.
Yeah.
But yeah, just seeing grown men just be this upset about character design choice for a little less pixelated cleavage is very concerning.
Yeah.
And the fact that so many people are running with it is just crazy. Like there's bigger
They've
things
reached
happening in the world.
50,000 so far.
This is the most
they're-
criticism Sony's had from their fan base in years.
Right?
What is going
Not
on?
on returning games, not on lack of a roadmap, but extra clothing.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
I know
it's a
if
new era.
Xbox is too woke, they can keep them. Honestly,
It's crazy. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the crazy part, though, guys. This is not the first time Sony has censored a video game, and it's like now it's like this outrage. Like, what the hell? I'm like, bro, it's been like this forever. Y'all just been. This is what happens when you push shit off to the wayside, and like Sony's great. Nothing's bad from Sony. So this is all. Now they censored some boobies, cleavage, and maybe some thigh gap, and they're like, oh no, we didn't get the boobies back. This is crazy.
you're a bit too good at that impression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
Well, I watched
exasperatiness
those
for me.
videos pretty well.
I feel like it's like a Drake meme. It's just like splitting up Final Fantasy remaster and charging you for it 3 times. Yeah, but like put a little lace over some cleavage just for a design choice. No.
Yeah. They got Tifa in there, so they're happy. So that means
Go-
3
go
times
play-
more Tifa.
Yeah.
What's up, Psycho? How you doing?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing great. Outside of the fucking craziness that is going on Twitter, mental breakdowns from people that I'm like, it's just nuts seeing what everyone. It's like, dude, you guys, you've done this to yourselves. You guys never speak out about Sony, and this is the hill you fuckers gonna die on. Okay, it's like this is the wrong fucking hill to go speak out on all the horrible shit that PlayStation does, but cover up some boobs. Oh fuck, you done fucked up, Sony. But yeah,
I mean, honestly, I don't even know how big the censorship is. Like, I haven't
It's
really
not
cared
that
to
bad.
look at it. Like, it doesn't matter to me whatsoever. But like, I see the
It's-
clips of people posting of the game right now, and I'm like, it's
It's-
still pretty like
it's literally
revealing. I don't know.
like one picture. I'll show you.
it's like it covers a little bit of the cleavage area and the weight, the down by the waist. It's like it just has like this like bigger Yeah, there.
It's literally just this is before, this is after.
And this is the outrage.
Where do I sign? Where do I sign this
Where
petition?
I sign?
Where do I sign?
No, I get, but they are all censoring the blood. But again, Sony has done this before. Sony will censor third party day in, day out, but they will not touch their first party stuff. They can leave everything. People can get pegged in their video games. It's okay. But you show some cleavage. Oh fuck. Everyone's having a fucking meltdown. So
Yeah,
it's
you
guys are too late.
This year's discourse in video games has been the most random, like interesting and non-important that I think I've seen in forever. Whether it be all the doom and gloom on Xbox or the doom and gloom because they put an undershirt on Eve, it's just insanity, man. I don't know what to think anymore about the gaming community. I think I've kind of just lost the plot of what is going on out there. And you talked a little bit on your stream last night, Bob, about all the doom and gloom stuff with Xbox.
Yeah.
It was like interesting hearing your thoughts on a lot of that, because I'm kind of there with you, and it's either it's that, or it's stuff like this, or it's the like woke stuff, or the inclusiveness stuff, or it's the Sweet Baby Inc. stuff, or it's just like, okay, can we just look forward to these games and play these games and be happy with how awesome they are? Because we've gotten so many fucking good games this year, and now everybody thinks they're in a gaming rut when we have 9s dropping out the ass this year from several different genres and stuff, and I don't know. It's just really weird.
Upset, just get a PC.
Yeah.
No, meanwhile, this is an outfit you can still unlock. Yeah.
They didn't censor that one?
No, like this is an outfit you can unlock apparently, and it does not hide very much.
People probably know exactly what's changed on every outfit. I think they've probably examined these things a little much.
They have. There's along with the people, with the videos, they're showing all the outfits that are changed, what's changed, but yet they're not outraged about the censorship of the violence, the blood, and it's like that is what you should be more outspoken about, because it's it's video game violence, it's not real life violence. Why do you need to censor that? But yet it's the outfits that they're pissed off about. It's the fucking silliest, most elementary fucking kid bullshit that it's like, well, I remember back in fucking elementary school, this would have been a big topic because you don't get to see side boob and all that growing up. But fucking grown men, teenage, people are in their 30s and 40s out fucking, we gotta sign a petition to bring the movies back, is the silliest fucking thing.
They could just get a Switch and play all those hentai games if they really want to.
No, they can't play those. They censor those too on Nintendo. Nintendo and Sony are the two platforms that censor their products. I don't see Xbox censoring their games. Now they have their inclusiveness, but I don't see them censoring other people's games like Sony and Nintendo does. It is fucking crazy. But yet it's all about the fucking console sales. That's who's winning. But censor a game, that's okay, unless it has to do with boobs. Then it's then you cross the line, Sony. You cross the line.
Yeah.
I do feel like there is like an actual conversation that could be had, like with a trend in media to try and like fit into that like PG-13 or like T-14 rating. Like everyone's afraid to like make a mature game or like a rated R movie because it kind of degrades like the amount of money you can make.
Yeah, that's
which is
been a
kind
thing
of
for a long
frustrating.
time. That's like the Disney thing, right? You know?
Right, because yeah, like Marvel movies are all like PG or PG-13, if I'm not mistaken. Like
Except for
the big deal
Deadpool,
about
that's not going to be.
yeah, and that yeah, Deadpool is like that's the big deal about Deadpool is it's an actual like R-rated like action movie, and it's like refreshing when we get that. Like as an adult, like I would
Mhm.
like I haven't seen all the Marvel movies, but like having it be like an actual piece of entertainment, not just made to be lowest common denominator like family movie. Like I mean, I kind of feel like a little bit weird like having to say it that way because then I feel like oh you're covering up the boobies and the gore, but it's like sometimes those things are fun. Like those are things that make it fun. Like Halo
Yeah.
used to be like a mature rated game, and now Halo is like a T for teen game. Like same like
Yeah.
it's like why do we have to take these things out? Which I mean at the same time, a lot of times these games do end up in the hands of children. Like I was very much not 18 when I started playing Halo. Did it mess me up? I don't think so. A lot of people might beg to differ, but
Like
it's like
Halo was like the most tame M for mature game
yeah,
ever. Like I never really understood what made it that rating to
right.
begin with.
Well, probably just the violence and the blood
Yeah.
and like the flood was pretty scary.
Yeah.
7th grade me had to have a sleepover with my buddy Tyler to play co-op because I was too scared of the single player missions at a certain point. But still, I do feel like that's maybe part of the reasoning for it is that games generally are consumed quite a bit by younger audiences that game makers might be a little bit more um less likely to make some of these mature rated games, but I do feel like it's an interesting conversation to have. Like maybe it could be an option to like turn on the gore or turn on the more adult themed portions like with technology that we have today. You would think that'd be part of the parental control features,
Yeah.
but I don't feel that it necessarily really does get in the way of certain like certain pieces of media like reaching as big of an audience as like people in power tend to, but those people also when things hit the fan have to answer to regulatory bodies and have questions asked of them as to why they're creating these pieces of media with like gratuitous sexuality or violence. So it can be understandable, but I do kind of just miss or it is refreshing when you actually do get like that R-rated movie or like the M-rated game and just get to enjoy it for what it is and not have to worry about like oh this was kind of dumbed down
Yeah.
or simplified because it's meant for a broader appeal.
It's
But the thing, well, I will say one thing real quick, Matt. But they did not lower the mature rating for Stellar Blade. It's still mature. So they censored it
yeah.
and it's still mature. So it's like,
They
so
just
what was the
wanted it to
reason?
be rated X. I don't
That's the thing. That's the part that where if you're going to censor it to get a lower rating, then that is what it is. But when the rating stays the same, why are you censoring it?
yeah.
I think that is where I find where it should not be censored. But again, this is Sony, and they do this numerous times before. So it's a Sony call, not a Shift Up. I think is the developer for Stellar Blade. I don't think it was their call. I think it was a Sony call. But
I just look at where we were like when I was a teenager, right? With media and video games and TV shows and movies and stuff like that, right? Because I remember back then being a kid and Mortal Kombat coming out and it being like, oh my god, this is the worst thing ever. It was made by the devil, and like Congress was trying to shut it out, shut it down and stuff, right? And then you have like you had some pretty like hardcore stuff in movies and stuff, but like on TV at home, there was not hardly anything, right? You could watch that was that mature, even on cable, like, unless you had like.
Someone never had scrambled cable.
Friday, well, I mean Friday the 13th.
But you had like, but now if you subscribe to Netflix or Amazon Prime or like Paramount or any of these services, right? there is so much really mature content like available on the cheap for the masses now and show form that we would never get back in the day, you know. And then so we have that way more mature stuff. You know, you have
Yeah.
crazy horror, gore, sex, all this stuff is just available all over the place. And in video games, I don't remember when I was like a teenager there being a game like Baldur's Gate 3, right? Where you have those kind of scenes in it. And I remember the hot coffee mod in GTA when that came out and how much of a big fucking deal that was that you could have sex in GTA as a mod, right? And that was a rated M mature game, but it almost like people were like, "Oh, this is so bad. This is the worst thing ever." And now it's like there's several games that you have that kind of stuff in, and it's like, "Hey, this is cool." You have bestiality in Baldur's Gate 3.
Imagine if some of these senators saw the uncensored Steam store.
Right. I'm just I'd look at where things are today compared to where they were back then, and people are like saying censorship is an issue now. It's like shit's way more of the Wild West than it was back then. So if I look at the direction that things have moved over the last 20, 30 years, I'm like, well, hey, stuff's a hell of a lot more mature than it was back then. So I think we're moving in generally in that direction. And it's been proven by the products, the shows, the movies, and all these kind of things that we have now that we didn't have back then. Now, sometimes you can look at case-by-case examples like, oh, look at what they did here, and we can have an outrage about it. You know, but overall, I don't really see it as that big of an issue. Like if you talk about certain companies like Disney and how they kind of Disneyfy everything or certain stuff like that, yeah, you can always make these examples about things and stuff. But like overall, if you want mature content out there or you're a hornball or whatever, there is so much stuff for you to not be outraged about something as simple as what just happened with Stellar Blade. And
yeah, can you still get to Pornhub on your web browser on the PS5, or did they block that? I can't remember.
I don't. They removed the web
There's no
browser
web
on
browser.
the PS5.
Oh, they removed the browser.
There's a
Oh,
way.
Yeah, so that's
There's a way to get to it, like to the web browser. I don't know how.
I think that explains a lot.
Yeah. But it's just so overall in general, I just kind of I remember the way it was then and the way it is today. You know,
Case closed.
and if you go
Johnson.
back even further, I mean, to the 50s and stuff like that, it was like we were all fucking watching Leave It to Beaver and the Andy Griffith Show, and that's what, like, anything beyond that was, oh, this is taboo. You can't. Generally, things have moved to way more mature content for people to consume, and like the whole nitpicking certain scenarios and stuff. I'm like, okay, it's a little bit much, you know, but it is what it is. Nighturnal says, not in Texas anymore. New state law, have to prove your age.
Uh-oh.
I don't know what are you referring to. Are you referring to
Pornhub now
On
asks,
porn websites.
Pornhub
okay.
just asks if you're 18 or not.
Interesting.
Not that I know.
Not that you know. But,
Psycho never watches porn, you guys.
no.
Yeah, that's right.
He's gonna make it into heaven.
Yeah, it's very hot down there. I mean, up there.
Yeah. I don't know.
I remember a time broadcast TV, you couldn't even curse on broadcast
Yeah.
TV. Then it was like, oh, you could curse after 11. And then it was like, well, certain curse words were okay. And then it was like,
South Park.
Now
I don't
you're
think
allowed
anybody
a
was
certain
watching
amount of...
broadcast TV. So
Right.
it's like, oh, just do anything. Just don't show butt cheeks. Oh, wait, we can show butt cheeks now. And it's like,
And now you're allowed a certain amount of fucks, right?
yeah.
you can
you
say fuck
gotta
one
make sure
time.
you stay within the fuck quota.
Yeah, make good use of your fuck, okay?
You
It's
get
gotta have a
7
big
shits
impact.
and 2 fucks, or else you're getting taken down.
Make fuck, not war.
Okay, yeah.
That's
It's
what they
just
say.
it's just interesting, right? I think that overall with this kind of stuff, if you look at the bigger picture, grander scope, if mature content is what you're looking for today, as opposed to 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, name it, there's way more content out there for you. And I think it's because this horny, crazy violent generation of us when we were kids is grown up, and this is all the shit that we like. We need more blood and gore and sex. Give it to us. Let's go. But anyway, just don't cover up our cleavage. We'll sign a petition. But anyway, yeah, that wasn't even supposed to be a big topic, but I guess we I guess we kind of got into it. I kind of wanted to tackle the news that came out a little bit today, because Todd Howard had an interview with Kind of Funny, and Starfield's getting some good stuff. There's going to be an update soon that's going to add more features. You have more quality of life features. You have like shipbuilding stuff. You have other modes and stuff into it as well. And then later on this year, you have the Shattered Space expansion coming as well. I see weird discourse still about Starfield, how people are like, oh, just give up on Starfield, don't even support it anymore and stuff. But then yet there are people like playing Fallout, which is a way older game, because of how well it's been supported over the years and how much all that they've done, that they can have this massive resurgence, including Fallout 76, which was a dead game at launch for a lot of people. And now has tons and tons of people playing it, more than a lot of other games actually concurrently. And Bethesda has been on the tops of minds for a lot of people now, but since the Fallout show, I think it came out that like 65 million people have watched the Fallout show on Amazon Prime. And then you had last week, they said 5 million people concurrently were playing different Fallout games at the same time. That is absolutely nuts. And then we had this Fallout 4 update that has caused another resurgence on Fallout 4. So much to the point to where it is now considered to be a huge release, according to Digital Foundry, a free update that now is getting criticism because of the bugs that it has with causing a issue with performance mode on Xbox and some PlayStation users, where the Xbox version is inferior to the PlayStation version, according to Digital Foundry right now, because of this bug on a huge release, as they called it in their conversation. And I'm kind of still standing back looking at this, because this was a lot of discourse today I saw. And I'm like, is this a free update that we all just got for this really old game? And there's a bug. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't like bugs and stuff like that. But are we really freaking out about this now? Like, I for one, I'm actually just happy that we're actually get updates for free from the Xbox community that goes across all these different platforms, that did a massive transformation on Fallout 4, which is a very old game now. And I've been playing it, and it looks fucking gorgeous on the Xbox Series X. And unless I had seen what Digital Foundry said, I would not know otherwise about any of that stuff. And I could honestly still even care less, because I don't need Digital Foundry to tell me what my eyes see. But overall, Fallout has had a massive resurgence. Starfield content is coming, updates more soon, and another expansion. And then we have Elder Scrolls 6 going to be a few years from now. Like, Bethesda is, for me, killing it right now, despite the controversies and all this other kind of stuff over the last year. But yeah, I think start with Fallout. Just like, has this kind of put Bethesda back into that top tier mindset of most people? Because it seems like Starfield, people are like, oh, Bethesda's not the same. But now Fallout is resurged. I don't know, Fuzz, do you see this these updates and stuff kind of in the show propping Bethesda back up?
Yeah, to some extent, yeah. It brings attention back to the quality work that they did back then, and it's still quality work now. 76 was probably their low light as far as the release. They've continued with it and kept supporting it. But overall, I think a lot of people have gotten back in touch with what they enjoyed about Bethesda games,
Yeah.
Beforehand. And that, I would say my only complaint now is that the Shattered Space is a little bit longer than they originally quoted, but I rather them take the time and make sure it's, a complete update and doesn't break other stuff type of thing. So, let them take their time on it. But yeah, the show definitely brought more attention back to those games, brought more attention back to the studio. So much so that people are asking, well, when is Fallout 5 going to come around? Is it going to be 2031 or is it going to be later or something like that? Questions of if Todd would retire. I think he kind of answered those with kind of funny. He's not going anywhere anytime soon, but I think there were some concerns like, oh, is Elder Scrolls 6 going to be his swan song kind of thing? With being in the position that he's in, and he can finally take time to himself and retire or whatever. But I think the fact that one, you get the free updates, and it wasn't just like it was Xbox that just got the free updates. Everybody that owned the copy. Now, the keyword is owned a copy. For those that got it free through like PS Plus or whatever, if you're still subscribed, you should, I think, get access to the updates. But if you not subscribed, then you don't technically own that copy anymore. And everything, to be fair, it's one of those things where PS has done that before. They've done that with Drive Club, and I remember that firsthand.
Yeah.
That when they did the free version of Drive Club, you didn't get a lot of content with it, nor could you ever upgrade it, kind of thing. Except for when they offered the upgrade that was like almost the price of just buying the game outright. And I think they even did that with Horizon Zero Dawn before they gave it away free during the whole lockdown and whatnot. Prior to that, when they had it in PS Plus and that upgrade came about, you didn't have access to it. And I think that was even if you were still subscribed, you didn't have access to the free upgrade. Excuse me. But yeah, overall, it's great that they still support the games. It's great that the community has come back to the games. I would say if we're looking for something Fallout related sooner rather than later, we all know that Obsidian is a great partner, also owned within the Xbox family. They did, in some regards, people's most favorite Fallout with Fallout New Vegas. So they got Avowed coming later this year. They got Outer Worlds 2 that they're working on. So maybe they squeeze something in. Maybe that other title that's like unannounced is a Fallout related thing.
Yeah.
You also have In Exile, which even if they were to do like a remaster of like Fallout 1 and 2, since there are a lot more like turn-based and RTS style games that are doing a bit better now on the Xbox platform, that might be a kind of like a holdover project that, aside from them doing Clockwork Revolution, it might be, worth their while. I mean, if you look at their pedigree, they've worked on the original Fallout for some of the senior people there. And Wasteland is kind of like an world adjacent kind of, series that's, has a lot of overlap with Fallout. So, something like that would be pretty cool to see. But, other stuff that Todd talked about, like I'm more excited about the Starfield stuff. Really enjoying the Fallout stuff. Although I'm on PC, I haven't looked at some of the other mods that I've added to see if it broke any of those. But from a visual standpoint, I didn't do any of the mods for the fact that I knew that they were doing that next gen update. But
that's
everything
the thing.
Seems to be playing well.
That's the thing, Fuzz. Like I'm not super into modding and PC gaming, but I do remember one of the frustrations I always had with mods is that anytime there was a big update for a game, it broke most of the mods, and then you'd have to go update all the mods, and the modders have to do updates on them and all that kind of stuff. And I see most of the discourse now about their mods not loading properly and all this kind of stuff. And I think part of it is because mods are on console now, right? Mm-hmm. And console gamers aren't used to dealing with that. And the modders obviously need time to update and fix all those kind of things as well. So for me, I was just kind of like, I have like one mod enabled right now on console, and I have had zero issues with it whatsoever. Mm-hmm. The game, I started a new playthrough. The game like just loads fine. I noticed improvement on the lighting. I noticed improvement on the graphics. I noticed improvement on a lot of the detail in the game, and it looks more like what I was playing on PC before, right? And for me, I'm like, okay, that's a pretty damn great update. Especially it's smooth as fuck. I see a lot of people talking about it's quality versus performance mode. You're not enabling that. In quality mode is what it kind of is defaulting to, I think, for everybody with the issue, but it's running at like 4K 60.
Yeah.
For me, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't find I can't get myself to be upset over a game that was not running 4K 60 before, now running at 4K 60 and looking also a lot better fidelity wise. Um, I think, especially also because this is a free update. I know it took a long time, right? And I know with their track record, they're going to keep working on this and improving it because that's just what they have kind of always done with their games, and they're known for having bugs. They're known as Bethesda for a reason. But I think a lot of the discourse has kind of overshadowed how awesome this update has actually been, and it's driving a lot of players back to Fallout 4, right? So again, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Digital Foundry. I think some of the stuff they do is valuable, but whenever they come out with one of these videos or comparison things, it tends to cause extra discourse on something where people have been playing and seeing for a few days anyway, and never mentioned these things until Digital Foundry told them, right? And that's happened several
Like the
times.
shadows.
Right. Like, oh yeah, I know that's a huge problem. Yeah, was it? You just played through that section yourself, asshole, and you never saw this or even cared or mentioned it. So now, because somebody pointed it out with the microscope, right, and a magnifying glass, and freeze framed a section of one part of a huge open world game, and you're like, wow, this is so inferior. I don't know. I think sometimes we ask for a lot from the developers, and when we get some cool stuff and free updates on old games, that I'm just not ready to be upset about it. Like I kind of appreciate that more so than not. Otherwise, they could, I don't know, sell us a remaster of it, and then 3 years later sell us a remake of that same remaster. We could all have that world as well. Well, I don't know which one I'd rather live in. I think I'd rather live in this world where we get the updates for free. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just me.
definitely a better route.
Yeah, I think most of us would agree with that. But it kind of was weird if they had marketed this as like Fallout 4 remake and sold it for like $60 and relaunched it on PC and consoles. Like, would that have gone over better for some people? Like,
I I don't know, because it would definitely be a weird precedent at that point. I mean, yeah, they've kind of done that with Skyrim to some extent, but you always wind up getting a lot more content with those updates or remakes.
yeah.
Like it goes from being the base game to having all of the mods and DLC and stuff like that. So I guess they could have done like the Game of the Year edition. Then
Well, and even in like the Skyrim anniversary, they did something like that. They had a relaunch kind of. They put it on Switch for the first time. They had a free update, but people were freaking out because they resold it as a complete package, like a $60
Mhm.
game, right? If you wanted to buy it, if you hadn't owned it before, you could buy that, and it came with like Creation Club content and stuff like that as part of it. Or if you already had the regular edition that was upgraded for free, you could pay an extra $10 to get the Creation Club content. But then people were freaking out about that too. Now this one's completely free, right?
and they're still freaking out.
And people are still freaking out about this. Meanwhile, people are so happy to pay $60 for a 3-year-old remake, a game that's remade after 3 years.
Without the what do you call them? Without factions that
Right.
miraculously got canceled.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm just relishing the 60 frames 4K-ness of it, man. Like it's beautiful now. It looks like a completely different game to me when playing. It's a different experience. I want to go to Bob on this one. You mentioned this about In Exile and stuff, because one thing that came out with the interview and stuff was the willingness now that Todd Howard might be for other people to work on Fallout or their franchises. And I kind of putting the pieces together. There was something that happened like 2 weeks ago with Josh Sawyer making some random post about Fallout, bringing back his his notebooks and stuff, his field notes and stuff like that with when they did Fallout New Vegas. And now you have these comments from Todd Howard. You have the resurgence of the Fallout show. We know that Bethesda's next big game is Elder Scrolls 6. And previously, Todd's like, well, I want to be the one that work on the next Fallout. But I have a theory, and I've mentioned this on a show before. Because Xbox has the holy trinity of Fallout, they have the original creators of Fallout in the heads of In Exile and Obsidian, who went on to form those studios after Interplay shut down. And then now you also have the stewards of Fallout ever since then with Bethesda and Todd Howard. I could see this happening where Obsidian takes the lead on a new development, headed maybe by Josh Sawyer. In Exile also is able to help on this game, maybe with some of the older hats there that have worked on Fallout before. And then you have maybe executive produced by Todd Howard with a small team from Bethesda ensuring kind of quality control over everything. Meanwhile, they're still able to go full force onto Elder Scrolls and keep updating Starfield. And it wouldn't surprise me, and I don't know exactly if it would be Fallout 5, if it would be Fallout New Vegas 2, or some other kind of spin-off. But do you think that's more likely than not now, Bob, with the resurgence of Fallout and Todd's comments?
I mean, the saying is that you got to strike while the iron is hot, and I do think it'd be stupid if they weren't trying to figure out more ways to bring these experiences to the customer. Because, like, the nice thing about when this type of like cross promotion and like world expanding works is that it means that we have more fans of the series of the universe, and that means we as people who have enjoyed the games for years get more games. So I do feel that it would be smart of them to find a way to make it make sense. If they haven't already had a plan in place, then you can make some exceptions to what your original plan might have been in order to bring those experiences. So I would love to see like maybe like a another New Vegas, or finding a creative way that might not have been in the plans originally to like bring Fallout 5 a little bit faster, because of the fact that like there is so much hype around it. Like people want these games, like at the very least, like maybe more content updates for some of the older games, or maybe a bigger expansion for 76. I'm not as familiar with like the dev teams behind it or anything, but I would think like when they saw this coming together, that they probably had an idea of what they had, and it would be smart of them at the very least, because I feel like that's something that Microsoft has struggled with, is making sure that they're like actually following through when they have the chance to make the big swing and like make a big move like this. Like they've sometimes fumbled some of these things, and like managing their studios and like bringing what the fans actually want necessarily, which overall in their strategy, I feel like they do a pretty good job with Game Pass and everything else. But I would really hope that they've been starting to think about how they're going to like bring more Fallout to the gamers as well.
Yeah, it's that IP is just transcended to another level after the show, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that puts another emphasis on Microsoft to like make sure they handle it properly. To have a franchise that at one time 5 million different people are playing of the different games all at once, that's a big deal, right? You're talking about either between Fallout 76 or Fallout 4, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, or whatever, all the different Fallout games. To have that 5 million people at one time, right? And that's a Microsoft-owned IP. Like, you can't say that about many other franchises ever in history would have that many people playing at one time, right? So that's kind of like, we got to make sure we handle this right. And I think waiting fucking 8 years for another Fallout game is not the right answer for that, obviously, and maybe that was the original plan, but I think maybe now with the success of the show, they're like, okay, we can't wait that long. Sorry, Todd. Like, I know it's your baby now, but fuck. Like, we gotta we got to do something sooner than later because there's more people craving Fallout content than ever before.
Yeah, and I feel like I was saying, like when it's in production, like I feel like they had a good feel. Like you have to have a good feeling about it with how well it turned
Yeah.
out. Like you have to know that this is gonna cross over into like new territory. Like
Mhm.
you got to be making plans. Like as one of the biggest gaming, like the biggest gaming publisher in the world now. Like you're doing the strategy. Like you got to actually follow through and like make the games because that's really the bottom line. Like this is a business. Like part of the reason why you move into a new territory with a franchise is to expand that like exposure to the franchise. So I would really hope that this has been
Yeah.
part of the plan. Essentially, is that if it turns out well, that we're gonna like bring you more Fallout. Which I mean, to me, like the big expansion to Fallout 4, like the updates that they made, I don't think that would have happened like without um like the show necessarily. So I feel like that's a good sign already, but I hope there's more plans than just that.
Yeah, for sure. Jay Rimbert hit us with a $2 super chat. Says Digital Foundry caps for Sony way too many times for me. They've been on both sides at times. There's times when they get called like Xbox. There's time when they get called ponies and stuff like that. But like overall, the issue that I mainly have with Digital Foundry is they can have two great performing games, right? And like you could have like pretty much like a 4K 60 frames experience on both platforms, right? And maybe this isn't just the fault of them, but it's the fault of the communities for like putting too much emphasis on what they say, right? But what they'll do is they'll have like, yeah, we played. Here's the performance, and they have the little fucking bar that scrolls across the screen, and gets the little green line, right? And this was like a really smooth 60 for the most part, but we did run into some dips here, and it was more prevalent on Xbox than PlayStation or something. And they show like one little section of a game where they run into like this crazy saturated area with like some like big tall grass and lots of enemies or something, and it's like dipped 3 frames for like 10 seconds or something, right? And it's been running smooth 60, but this it didn't dip there on the PlayStation. And on a Xbox here, it's 57 frames here instead of 60, right? When nobody, this could even be a game that's been out for like 2 weeks or something. People have already beaten it, played it. Nobody ever mentioned any of this stuff or talked about it or even thought anything of it. And then all of a sudden, now you have this comparison flooding social media, flooding the internet, being like, wow, Xbox really needs to get their shit together because these games are performing better on PlayStation, and this is a huge fucking problem, right? And it's like, okay, well, that happens also with the other games sometimes, that it's the opposite, but nobody really cares or makes a big deal about it, but it just seems like something that was never an issue. It's only an issue because somebody spotted it with a magnifying glass and overemphasized this little tiny section of a game that nobody ever noticed unless they're doing this kind of in-depth analysis, right? And maybe that's important to do that kind of analysis on these things, but for me, it hasn't affected a lot of the things that they point out has never affected the actual user experience. And you're talking about before updates, before patches, that a lot of this stuff gets ironed out over time anyway. I'm not saying there hasn't been issues with optimization this generation on Xbox as well, for sure. But I don't know, making something a problem just because somebody found something that nobody else cared or even noticed is not really a problem for me. But
No.
I think we give them too much credit for highlighting these things and putting a little bit too much value into some of that stuff when really there's not a lot of issue there to begin with. At times,
And
sometimes
sometimes
there's big issues, but
and sometimes they don't include all the context. Like a lot of times where the Series X dips those 3 frames, it's at like over 1800p while the PS5 is
yeah, exactly.
doing dynamic at 1600p. So it's like, yeah, it might have been better if the Xbox did a little lower resolution, but it's like you're getting better resolution. It dips a frame or two here and there. So it's a trade-off, but they make it seem like it's the worst trade-off when, especially if you have a VRR TV, you don't even notice it. So I don't know.
No, and that's the thing. It's like it's because console warring sells their and gets the clicks for their, so everyone's gonna watch it to either find whatever to make whatever you know argument to have with, well, because of this and this, and the other side saying, yeah, but you're not a professional, they're doing, so it's like they sit back, enjoy the the interaction, because they stay prevalent within the media. Now if people just fucking ignored them and not take heed to a lot of these journalists, places like Digital Foundry, if you don't take and really give two fucks what they have to say, because they're really doing for the clicks, they tend, in the long run, they're going to do the right thing, because they're not getting the clicks that generate profit with the console warring, the false info on these with a lot of these games. And Fuzzy hit it right on the nose with the resolution. Xbox is running higher resolution, while PlayStation's lower on resolution and lower on uh, everything else within the game. But yet it's a solid 60. Xbox dips 3 frames.
Yeah.
But it looks a fuck ton better. It has volumetric fog. It has fucking better shadowing. But those 3 frames is life threatening. So it's just dumb fucking bullshit. But
I mean, it is what it is. I think like they're gonna always do this and trying to highlight and find what they can find, because that's what their channel's all about, right? But like it's up to for consumers and stuff to decide what's important or not, and I think sometimes we put too much importance on some of these things that never were a problem until they said so, right? And that's my main takeaway. And it's like that's not the same case for every game, obviously. Like there's some that they highlight, okay, this is substantial stuff, or like there's a major issues with these games and stuff like that, and I think it's where it's a little bit more valuable. There's games that are like mostly okay, I think is fine. The one thing that stood out to me with their feedback on Fallout was that they emphasized that the performance mode wasn't really working, on the Xbox, which is probably like a bug. But then they said, and some PlayStation users have the same issue, right? But it's like, okay, so is it an issue on both platforms, or is it an issue just on one, right? And like, is it because more people are playing it on Xbox? Is it because like people are doing more mods? Like we don't know. There's a lot of not clarification on a lot of those things, but it's kind of been running the gamut on social media today that, oh, Xbox first party game runs better on PlayStation because of this, and I don't know. I've played the game, and like I said, I've had a really smooth experience so far. I haven't really had any issues. I know other people may have, but I know some of the people that I've seen have a lot of those issues have a shit ton of mods that they've activated as well. And I already talked about kind of what my experience in the past has been with mods on PC after big updates. A lot of times it takes a while for those things to get ironed out, So I do suggest if you're having issues, try turning off your mods for now until the modders actually update the mods to coincide with the update for the game. And then you might see some improvement there as well. But overall, also the other news we got was Starfield. That there's an update coming, another free update soon. Again, updating games for free with awesome new features and stuff. Like, I love that. It's fucking amazing. Hardly anybody's talking about that, but they did bring up that there's going to be new surprises in this update. There's going to be new stuff for the shipbuilding in Starfield, and other things as well. And that's before the expansion that's coming, and was reiterated that it's happening this fall with the Shattered Space expansion. So lots of content coming for Starfield as well. On the heels of Fallout's success, like for me as a Starfield fan, that's super fucking exciting, because I know what the adding all these features and content over the years will do to these Bethesda games. We said last year when Starfield came out, it's just the beginning. Because Starfield is going to have a long life. Then I get discouraged when I see people say, like, just give up on Starfield. Like why? Like, Fallout 4, people were not as super happy with it when it launched either. Fallout 76, very not happy with that game when it launched either.
Yeah.
Well,
Would
I
we
feel like
wanted them to give up on those games when they came out? I'm glad
Yeah.
they didn't.
Well, there's people that still play Skyrim. Like Skyrim's like a decade-long game that people played consistently, and I feel like just the resurgence now just shows the viability of Bethesda games, like how long they really can last, or like how long these experiences stay relevant. Like they're not just games that disappear after a couple years or become dated like that quickly. Like they're they're familiar and like people enjoy playing them like well after the initial release.
Yeah. I am surprised too wasn't more criticism of Bethesda not removing the loading screens from Fallout 4 with the next gen update. I mean, people do not tolerate loading screens anymore. We've learned this with Starfield launch. And for them to have loading screens in Fallout, I mean, come on. Really? Really,
The
Bethesda?
audacity.
Loading screens in 2024 in this next gen update? What are you doing?
SSD.
Why are you doing this to us? It's unplayable. It's absolutely unplayable, Fallout 4. I don't get it. Are you excited for the Starfield content coming, Psycho?
Yeah. I've been waiting.
Yeah.
I've been waiting. Yeah. Because with the extra modes, I'm hoping that we'll probably see maybe a 60 FPS mode, maybe a balance mode where it's like 40, 45 FPS with like higher resolution, kind of still give that Todd Howard experience, but give us better frame rate for VRR TVs. So this way, we're not seeing, even though you don't really experience
Yeah.
really bad 30 FPS stuttering or anything with Starfield. So, but outside of that, the extra shipbuilding, I want angled pieces because I can't create Serenity from Firefly because there's angled pieces on it. So it's like, well, if I do everything straight, no one's gonna really know what the fuck I'm trying to build. So just
Hope
hoping
they
for
add cleavage.
yes. Titties would be great.
Stellar
maybe
Blade mod for Starfield.
some-
Time to stop the censorship.
Just put
some
Eve in there.
Bring Todd Howard's vision to life.
yeah, just some moose knuckle. That'd be
Of
fantastic.
course.
Yes. And no, I'm really excited. I want to see what they're gonna bring with this update because there are surprises they said. So I wonder what the surprise is. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, it's always welcome to update your video game, give us some more content. To this day, there's still people playing Endgame, playing, getting, just really building out their ships and their whatever base building stuff like that. So, it could Starfield been a little bit, could they have toned it down a bit? Maybe not give us 1,000 planets, and so this way everything's more explorable. They could have, but Starfield. This is what makes Starfield great because it's you feel the the realism with the whole, like, it takes fucking hours to fly to a planet, to fly whatever. So to get more content's great. Sorry.
Yeah. So this is by Clobrel, who kind of broke down a little bit of what Todd said would be in this update. New display modes on console. So I'm guessing like performance modes / type stuff. I'm not exactly sure what they mean by display modes there. New shipbuilding features. City maps, that's one exclusion that didn't make sense to me. Like that should have been there
Yes.
at launch. The city maps, like that. I saw that there was no map, and I'm constantly like, where do I go? I kind of learned them by now, so it's less. But there was one time where I had a quest, and I had to go somewhere, and I literally was like lost for a while, and I just couldn't figure it out. But yeah, city maps are coming. New gameplay and difficulty options. So don't know what that means as well, but I think a lot of times when people were complaining about the NPCs in Starfield, they weren't playing on hard as well. Because if you turn it up to hard, the NPCs are pretty aggressive, and it can get pretty difficult at times. But I'm assuming the difficulty options, maybe they're going to ramp it up even more, which for a game like Starfield would be pretty badass for me. And then who knows what the additional surprises could be. I've said something like I want them to have like a little like hover round or something you can pull out of your backpack and like hop on and like traverse the planets, or a little scooter or some shit like that. Like it's something where you can kind of just ride around a little bit to make exploring the planets a little bit more tolerable, when you have to travel long distances. But who knows what the surprises could be, man. And that's before the big expansion, which we have no clue what's even in that. But I bet we're going to find out in June. And they'll probably bring hype.
I do feel like vehicles would be a really good addition, like for just a mid-year refresh on it. Because that's definitely one thing that when people bring it up, like just kind of how much more fun the planets could be if you did have some kind of vehicle, even if it's not like the fastest or anything, just something to add a little bit more fun to the exploration. Because that was honestly like one of my favorite things about Mass Effect was like being able to get in the Mako and like explore the planets. Like it's not the most fast and efficient and crazy vehicle, but you could have some fun shenanigans with it. And it gave a little bit more of a dynamic to like getting out there and searching for those minerals. So definitely a vehicle would be fun. But honestly, like I do feel like even though I'm joking, cleavage, while we're on this, like we should get into Todd Howard's DMs and be like, hey, if you add a little bit more cleave to Starfield, the Sony boys will be on board. Now's our time.
Yeah, now is the time to strike.
Yeah. And censorship. God Howard.
Yeah.
He can save us.
Maybe they can go Baldur's Gate 3 route and you can like just fuck around with
totally fuck
anybody.
in space for sure.
Some of those insects and stuff on the planets.
Man, it'd get real freaky. I do feel like a little bit. Oh, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Like a little bit. The more I play, like some of the Fallout games, though, like I know I kind of like in some of my content I made during like Starfield, I kind of joked on the comparison of like Fallout versus Starfield, like how you're like exploring a literal wasteland. But like revisiting some of the older games lately, like it does make me look at Starfield and just think of how kind of sparse like those worlds really kind of were compared to like Oblivion or Fallout. So I do hope like in the big update that we do get maybe some more fleshed out worlds or more of like a world scale where we have a little bit more of that exploration and everything instead of like just different points of interest as well.
That's why I'm excited for when the mods really start going on console and PC and the creation tools really get implemented well, because I could see, that being crazy over time.
Right.
And
or even just what Bethesda does to it over time. Also, there's a lot of possibilities for sure.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think Starfield, like, it had some negativity around launch time, and I think some of it justified, but like most of it honestly was like overkill with a lot of the conversations. But over time, I see this game as just becoming this massive thing that people are going to keep playing and playing and playing because they're going to keep adding stuff to it. It just literally came out like last September, right? And we already had like 2 or 3 good updates on it. We're getting another one before the holiday or fall expansion pass, and I think I think they have more expansions probably planned after that. I don't remember for sure, but it seems like this is going to be a game that's going to last for a long time. But people were already saying, "Hey, stop supporting it." I see that, and I just don't. I don't. Why wouldn't you want a good game to be even better over time for free? Like, it doesn't make any damn sense to me. And I know it's because they want them to finish Elder Scrolls 6 and, and get to Fallout and stuff like that sooner than later. But, I think Starfield has a lot more potential than people are giving it credit for. Because in their minds, they consider it a failure for some reason, even though it's still scored and is played by way more people than a lot of games that are considered successes. And maybe it's just because of the expectations that people had for the game more than anything. But yeah, I'm excited, bro.
People kind of expected Starfield to be No Man's Sky, not Starfield, and I feel that was a pretty big reason why so many people talk crap about it, honestly.
Yeah, they were comparing it to No Man's Sky before it came out. And when people
look how much that support that game got.
Yeah,
over the years.
remember how much backlash No Man's Sky had in its first year? What
And
if
how
they
much
had
it grew over time?
what if they had stopped supporting that game and making that game into what it is, and people were hoping Starfield would be? You know what I mean? As far as that goes, that's a great thought, Fuzz, because like that game had a lot of similar promises at launch, with do anything, go anywhere, all that kind of stuff. It's a different kind of game for sure, right? But they didn't deliver on a lot of things people had expected, even though that was what they were telling people was going to be, right? This is the main difference here with Starfield is they weren't ever saying that's what Starfield was going to be. They said it was going to be a Bethesda game, right? But the over time is what made No Man's Sky what it is. It wasn't its launch.
Yeah, they had to go silent for like a year or so before they even had half the stuff that they had promised at launch. And then there was the whole controversy about, oh, you could see other players, but there's no way that there's like a 1 in a billion chance, and it's like people were able to be at the same space at the same time, and then they couldn't see each other on the screen. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff that I guess they got in over their heads as far as that game, but they kept after it, and kudos to them because like it feels like it's a totally different game. Like it's above and beyond what they originally promised, I think, at this point in time. But to me, Starfield from start was everything that I wanted in a sci-fi adventure. Like I had kind of missed the boat on the original Mass Effect trilogy when they first came out. I guess I was into like more simulators and things like that back then. But yeah, it had all the vibes of building a crew, exploring the universe, and ship battles, on ground battles. Everything was just so awesome. And as far as I was concerned, I ran into a couple of bugs, which kind of broke 2 of my 5 playthroughs, but hoping that those get patched. But other than that, like I can't imagine why you'd want them to stop supporting that. Like the game has so much potential, even before modders touch it, where somebody's going to try to make it like a Star Wars section or Star Trek section or something. Have those either vehicles or some of the weaponry and things along those lines. Something that talked about with Bob on a podcast earlier today. Like just imagine like a Fallout planet or a Skyrim planet as one of those planets that somebody mods and does like a lot of the vaults and things like that. Like you could have it where the person could just play on that planet and it'll almost be like a Fallout world game kind of thing. But that game got way too much hate, and I think it was people heard that game of the generation, and it was like they wanted to do everything in their power to prove that it's not, by talking about, oh, look at the player base. It's like it's 6 months later and you're still worried about the player base on a single player game. Like you're obviously it must be a game of the generation in your mind to some extent, because it's still in your mind rent free, almost a half a year later. So it's just funny to me, and a lot of people are like, oh, look at the score, it wasn't a 90, and then it seemed like a lot of games have been having hard times getting 90s on the other platforms since that time. So it's for me, it was like the game of the year for me, game of the generation. Like I hope that they continue supporting it for as long as they've been supporting Fallout 4. Like 10 years from now, I would love to see what Starfield's like, and I'm really hoping there's a not Fallout, Starfield online version, hopefully in like the next year or two or something along those lines. Like have co-op, have a whole brigade or armada of ships and things like that. Yeah, they definitely need to continue supporting that game because there's so much potential.
Could you imagine like ship battles with like PvP, random like groups of pirates and stuff traveling together in space and as a cruise?
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like Sea of Thieves kind of, but like Starfield in a way. You know,
Mhm.
it could be absolutely insane, or it could be really annoying. but either way, it's something I would like to see happen too, Fuzz. I think the potential for that game, and I'm going to make a prediction, and you guys are more than welcome to timestamp this, bookmark it, clip it, whatever. Okay, make a prediction that when they showcase the Shattered Spaces expansion and actually do like another deep dive on it, there's going to be a massive flip of mentality of Starfield, and people are going to start to get excited and be like, "Oh, look at this! Oh, it's so amazing!" and all this kind of stuff. And then 3 years from now, or whatever, when people start talk about Starfield, they're going to talk about it as one of these great epic franchises that other games try and live up to, despite everything that's already been said about it in this first year. I can see it in my mind already. I can feel it because I know how flip-floppy the gaming community is and how their minds change at the drop of a dime based on one piece of information or one highlight reel or one new trailer or one update. It doesn't take much. Literally, Fallout had a TV show come out, and all of a sudden, Fallout 76 is the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know why? Because people realize it's fucking great because it's been updated for years now.
I could even see the success of like the TV show, like, and people getting into Fallout, like leading to a resurgence of people wanting to get into Starfield, even like once they get their fill of Fallout, like start exploring like Skyrim or other Elder Scrolls games or move on to Starfield. Like, I don't feel like it stops just with bringing a resurgence to Fallout.
Yeah, and the amount of hype that's going to be around Elder Scrolls 6. I mean, people talk about game of the generation or whatever, but like that could be a launch title for next gen for Xbox. And if that happens and they take everything they've developed making Starfield and put it into this one kind of open world game, it's set in that Elder Scrolls kind of universe, I think we are in for a fucking huge, massive hit when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out. And all the naysayers of Todd Howard and Bethesda and all that stuff are going to be right back in it. It's not saying, "Oh, this is outdated," you know, because that was just an excuse, I think, to shit on the game. You know, there's so many games that have a lot of these same mechanics come out, and nobody ever mentions any of those things with a lot of these games, right? But when it comes to specific game, because of the hype it had, attention it had, all of a sudden it's like it's a problem, you know. Elder Scrolls 6 is going to have a lot of those things too, but I don't think anybody's going to talk about it.
Looking back on it too, like when you bring that up, like just the excuses that people had to crap on it when they're just like, this game is supposed to be the greatest game of the generation, but it wasn't. Like everyone like just put it on such a, like they held it to such a high standard that they wouldn't hold like any other game to. They're just like, we were promised all these things. And like you look at like the arguments that those people make, and it's like, when were we promised like all these crazy things? Like if you look at the game previews and things like that, like we basically got like like they laid it out for us in the preview, like in January before the game release. Like
in the summer showcase, bro, they actually
they communicated with us.
40 in the 45-minute show they had there in the dev direct. They literally broke down how all the systems are going to work for going to the planets and all that kind of stuff, right?
It was not a surprise, but these people just obviously were not paying attention. and they're like, well, this game is supposed to be perfect and it's not perfect. Like, this isn't the game we were promised. And it's like, it very much was like the game that we were advertised. It wasn't any crazy jump. Like, everyone just built it up in their heads. And then as soon as it turned out to be like a pretty good, like, Bethesda game, like a little bit different than what we're used to with it, Fallout or Oblivion, like, which should be commended for them to like create the new franchise in and of itself, because that's crazy hard these days to like create new gaming experiences,
Yeah.
because no company wants to take a risk, especially just with all the money they put into these things. Like, it's just insane to me when like some of my friends, like, who aren't necessarily just Xbox gamers, were just like, it's not what we were promised. And I'm like, what did you think we were promised? And like that kind of cycled back into like, I thought it was No Man's Sky. And it's like, No Man's Sky had 8 years, or like almost 8 years of development to get to where it was
Right.
when Starfield launched. Like, like we're talking now, like, let's see where Starfield is in 5 years. Like, it's gonna be a much bigger game.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it had a overall good start, and like they're obviously not going to give up on these games, because if they didn't give up on Fallout 76, like, they're not going to give up on any of their big releases, right?
Right.
They are determined to make these games into the massive successes that they can be. And maybe it'll take a Starfield show, I don't know, for people to realize it, what they got. But we'll see. We may never see that. Wow, man, lots of stuff. You got to go, Psycho. He's already gone. Okay. I know Psycho has to open tomorrow morning early. You good?
No, I gotta go.
Okay.
No, I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
All right. No, you're good. Hey, tell everybody where they can find you, because we're gonna keep on with the conversation here.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry for jumping out, everyone, but real life kind of kicks you in the rear. But you can find me everywhere. Psychonauts 8, social media, Xbox, wherever. And I'll see you guys on the flip side. I'll see you all on Friday. And happy 100th to all y'all. Awesome to celebrate. It would have been cool to have 3-bit here, but he had real life stuff going. So we'll catch him on the next one.
Yeah, he's like moving for the first time this year already. So
I know he just needs to hire a moving people just to live with him. So, you know, because at any moment they can move.
Yeah.
But all right, guys. Good night. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.
Later, Psycho. Have a good one, man.
Psycho.
Night,
Later,
Psycho.
Good night.
Well, all right. So we also had this ID at Xbox show today. Kind of want to run down what we saw there. Wasn't any big surprise, really exciting game announcements or anything like that, but we kind of got new looks at a lot of things, and there was a couple new games shown there. Then after that, we'll have Tidbits. And without Jasper, without 3-bit, I'm trying to figure out how the hell we're going to do this, but we'll figure it out. So at the ID at Xbox show, which was the third show they've already had this year of some sort, because they had the Dev Direct, they had the third-party show, and now they had this indie show. And then not next month, but in a little over a month, maybe like a 6 weeks or so, they will have the summer showcase, right? But this was their third show already this year, so pretty cool. And I'm at looking through the list of things. It started off with 33 Immortals. Well, this isn't necessarily the order, but they had 33 Immortals there. That's another game that's coming to Game Pass this year that has some hype. They had All You Need Is Help. It's another game that's coming to Game Pass. It looks like it's a yarn thing.
It looks like, it reminds me of like a Nintendo game that's a mix of Tetris and Overcooked. And it looks like it's going to be fun. Definitely a handheld type of game for me. So I'll probably be playing it on my Steam Deck. But yeah, that one was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, I see the comment from Jay Lewis saying, why Xbox with IGN the Xbox show when IGN talks shit about Xbox? I gotta say, the little joke things that IGN was doing with Damon Hatfield and the other hosts there in between the little game segments, this is just cringy as fuck. And
Did not sell.
if I was Xbox, I would never do business with IGN personally. Unfortunately, they are the biggest games media site out there, and they have a lot of sway with the public and the gaming community. So that's kind of why they went with IGN, I think. But just do your own shit. Like Tina Amini has proven to be exceptional at what she does, right?
Yes.
You have your own stuff that you can do with your stages and everything that you have. You don't need IGN. You don't need Twitch, right? Just fucking do your own shit. Uh,
And they had a commercial break in the middle of it too, which
Yeah.
just felt weird. I don't know.
what was
I
the
that
what
joked
was
was
the
about it
really
commercial?
earlier
strange.
today.
What was
Yeah,
the
it was like Xfinity or something, or I can't remember, but all I remember was it just felt like that group was forcing the jokes. Like I was
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
was half joking and half serious. I was like, I feel like I'm getting diabetes in the middle of the show. And I think I got a couple of
Well,
cavities by the end of it. It was like it was just too much. Like
well, the jokes are really just like not. They're like pretty infantile too. Like it
Yeah.
was really not funny.
No,
It felt like they're pandering for kids or something.
whoever was
Yeah.
writing them, like I don't know. They need to hire a new writer for that shit.
Well, not only that, but just the way that they sold them were just
Yeah.
it just wasn't good. It was just he was like overacting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It seemed like he didn't want to be there or just I don't know.
Well, Damon Hatfield, like I used to listen to Game Scoop a lot back in the day. It was a podcast I listened to, and he was a host of that. But like, he generally just doesn't know much or care about Xbox.
Yeah.
Like, he just doesn't. Like, they do the what is it? The next gen console watch stuff. It
Mhm.
has him and Ryan McCaffrey and I forget, one of the PlayStation guys is on there too. And like literally the amount of misinformation or like lack of knowledge about the Xbox platform is pretty insane when it's a massive part of the gaming industry. One of the biggest companies in gaming now, especially after ABK, and they just literally sometimes don't know even the most basic things about the platform, and it's
Mhm.
weird to go with somebody like that. I mean, literally they skip out on games releasing for Xbox all the time. Like they
Mhm.
say it's like, oh,
Yeah.
issues with their site or whatever. But then when you call them out on it or point it out to them, they think you're like some kind of crazy
Oh, it's
fan of
conspiracy.
conspiracy theories and shit like that. Like, I don't.
It just feels like it's more of a business directive at that point because they know they're gonna get more clicks by upsetting Xbox people. And if they pander to PlayStation people, then they can lean into the bigger part of the market right now.
Yeah.
But like, it's not always going to be that way. And if if Xbox had sold 60 million consoles and PlayStation sold 30 million, they'd probably do the same
Yeah.
in reverse.
Yeah, and it,
Or
like
they just still say that like Xbox still sucks. I don't know. Like
probably.
eventually there would be a tipping point.
Like Dan Stapleton, their reviews editor, literally like was anti ABK the whole time, public about it. Like he was one that did the Starfield review that was heavily discussed when some of his conversation about Starfield was really strange, despite the score that he gave and stuff.
Mhm.
It's just overall, IGN is just. I used to be a fan of a lot of their shows and a lot of their podcasts and the people there and stuff a long time ago. But the last few years, it's just gotten too extreme for my taste.
Yeah.
Even like
It's
with biases, all that stuff to Xbox tax, whatever. Just the lack of knowledge about the Xbox
yeah.
platform is my main issue. Like, and then when they have those issues, Fuzz, like with the site or whatever, or missing games coming to Xbox and all that kind of stuff, it's like it's always the Xbox platform that gets left out, right? And so for me, it's like, okay, if you have this issue with your database or whatever it is that you say it is, whoever is doing this shit in your website obviously does not care enough about the Xbox platform or know enough about the ecosystem to make sure they're inputting that stuff properly, right? Like, there is a point of priorities when you have these systems that you make or the conversations that you have or knowledge that you need to gain to be able to do this kind of stuff. And it's obvious that Xbox is very low priority to them, right? And for that reason alone, you don't do business with them if I'm Xbox, right?
Yeah, seems like a strange choice.
So moving on, we had the All You Need Is Help yarn puzzle game.
Mhm.
It says dive into a quirky multiplayer co-op puzzle game where your adorable, fluffy, cube-shaped creatures collaborate to reach their goals. Is that multiplayer?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. It looks art side. You're right. It does look like a Nintendo game. It looks interesting. Then we had another game called Aster Blade of the Monolith. I think this one actually started the show off, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that one looked pretty cool.
I haven't seen this game before, but yeah, it did look pretty interesting. And it's kind of like an adventure game with a hack and slash and maybe some puzzles and stuff in there. It's described as an action RPG. It says play as Aster, a young warrior determined to unveil the secrets behind the creator's unforeseen demise. It looked pretty cool, man. That one is not, I don't think, announced for Game Pass.
No.
33 Immortals and the Yarn All You Need Is Help game, those are Game Pass. But Aster so far is not confirmed for Game Pass. Then we had a trippy ass game with a bunch of weird visual stuff like horror thing. I don't know. It's called Symptom.
Yeah.
That one was pretty crazy. And it was publisher was Serenity Forge.
They had like a couple of games, like back to back.
I had never heard of this publisher before this show, and maybe I'm an idiot, but as a name I didn't recognize. I don't know if either of you have heard of them before either.
No, that new to me as well. Like at first I was like, is that the name of the game? No, that's the publisher. And then I think they did a joint venture with like Moonlight or something for like the Lost Record or something. They had like a handful of them, and I'm like, this is news to me. I'm used to like, was it Annapurna and you know, Devolver Digitals and things like
there's
that.
Like Tiny
Pixel
Build, there's a lot of them, but this is a name I haven't seen. But they had some cool stuff. Maybe it's one of those kind of up and coming publishers. I don't know. But yeah, Symptom looked crazy, bro. Like it's just weird. It's kind of retro style graphics, like maybe like PS1 era, maybe like or before, and just I don't know. I can't describe it. Like
it's out there.
Yeah, multi-headed creatures, trippy looking stuff. And we had Commando's Origins, which is coming to Game Pass. This one is intriguing to me. It's like if there's any Command and Conquer fans out there, it reminds me of like Command and Conquer 1 when you play as just Tanya and you're going around blowing up buildings and stuff and executing like enemies. But this was like a new game, obviously, and it's a stealth kind of tactics game. But this one is coming to Game Pass for PC and console. And it's a old franchise. Commandos has been around for a long time, but this one is Commandos Origin. It says revisit front lines of World War II and experience the story of how the elite unit from the original games was formed. From the brazen deserts of Africa to frozen Scandinavian fjords, meet the 6 members of your squad and use their unique skills to overcome the most demanding of missions. So it's like a origins to the Commandos franchise, which is pretty cool. I liked what I saw from it for sure. Let's see here. Dungeons of Hinterberg, another one to Game Pass. A lot of Game Pass games here so far. This is one that has some hype. Fuzz, do you know a lot about Dungeons of Hinterberg?
I just like that it's like kind of like a puzzle platformer kind of deal. It looks like you have 2 abilities. One is like to make this gel cube that you can either climb or use to like move stuff out of the way. Then you can shoot these orbs, which will like blast through stuff. Cool looking game. I like the art style to it, but I've seen it once before, and I can't remember if it was at like a previous ID at Xbox or if it was like a third party show, or maybe it was Summerfest last year. But
I think it might have been Summerfest.
Yeah, but this was another one of those highlights, like Commandos, Origins, and then the All You Need Is Help. And well, 33 Immortals was like the game of the show for me, but Yeah, so far those were like the biggest ones, and even that Astroblade one, um, that one I definitely am looking forward to. Even if they don't come to Game Pass, they still look cool. But yeah, this one looked like it was a pretty cool one as well. And Game Pass day and date, that wins for
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah, I thought the golden age of Game Pass was over. Remember, like, what was it? Okay, who GameIndustry.biz guy, Christopher Dring. I think he was like at the gaming GDC or something. I can't remember where it was that he was at. He was like, I talked to a publisher and they said the Xbox isn't spending any money on Game Pass anymore and all this kind of stuff, right? Like literally we just have out of these indie publishers and developers here, there's been only one of these games so far that I've mentioned, or two that so far that I've mentioned that are not coming to Game Pass. So we have a lot to look forward to coming to Game Pass from the indie side still, as well as all the first party games coming. Then we have Farah the Sundered Tribes. This one looked pretty interesting. Like it looked like what I imagined Everwild could possibly end up being, or something. Like you fly on these you have these like feather wing contraption thing. You fly around. You have friends that you're playing with. You kind of capture monsters and use them, and then there's also like survival elements and base building elements here as well. So it's like a farming. It kind of reminds me of a way of like another take on like a monster collecting type hunting game.
yeah,
But with
Yeah, it kind of had Ark vibes.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Power World mixes those genres together.
Yeah.
Right. It kind of has some of that, but the flying mechanics and stuff look pretty fucking cool because you'll fly around, and then you can like use your grapple hook to like get higher in the air. Then you can keep flying around and stuff, and then the combat's really aerial as well. You can use your grapple hook and stuff to target the enemies and stuff like that. But right now it's only saying for PC. Then we have Gamera Montage. All coming to Game Pass. This is like a collection of smaller indie games here. There's Taro. Oh wait, that's the developer. Let's see. There's Keplerth, which looks kind of like The Escapist in a way. You have Volcano Princess. You have Depersonalization, which looks like a turn-based RPG style kind of game. Then you have Firework, 2D puzzle adventure, The Rewinder.
There's a nice little collection of all of them coming to Game Pass, I believe, except for I guess Volcano Princess doesn't list it, but I think they were all geared to come to Game Pass as like a collection. So it's nice that developer or that publisher is like, hey, I got like 4 or 5 games. Here you go, Game Pass day and day.
Kind of like one of those deals they made with the publisher to do multiple games that they've kind of been doing lately. We have another game called Hangry.
That looks
says
interesting.
Xbox One and PC. It says explore the galaxy, discover new life, eat it, play as Hangry, a beastly mercenary with an insatiable hunger, hunting down fearsome monsters in a snack and slash RPG. Traverse through barbecued woodlands and candy-coated caverns to find ingredients for Gutra, the chief chef of an alien underworld diner.
It's like a much better and more mature take on Bug Snacks, but like I call it the food extraction or food extraction game. So you're basically beating the crap out of these food items, eating some of them along the way, and then taking the rest back to the restaurant.
Yeah,
to kind of pay off your debt, and probably have them make you a meal, and then you go back and do the same. But it's a cool concept. Like, and it looks like I guess the world you return back to is cyberpunk-esque kind of looking, but some of the world where these creatures are kind of looks almost like a Fallout or a post-apocalyptical kind of thing. So pretty cool concept nonetheless.
That one does not say Game Pass on it.
No.
We have Humanity, which is coming to Game Pass, which is
Mhm.
like Lemmings on steroids, pretty much is
Yes.
what I think of that game. You're just kind of controlling where massive hordes of people walk, faceless humans. Um, and it looks interesting, a puzzle game, kind of. I liked Lemmings back in the day, so I could imagine where this game could go. It could be pretty good. Then you have there's a triple I montage. And I'm going off of Xbox era right now. They kind of put a lot of things together. Um,
Mhm.
there was 33 Immortals, Cat Quest 3, Death Must Die, Flintlock, Kill Knight, Let's School, Never Alone 2, Shadows of Doubt, and Wizard of Legend 2.
Yeah.
So those are all already been announced. And
Yeah, the highlights for me on those are 33 Immortals, Death Must Die. Definitely check that one out. It's like Hades, but like a lower
yeah,
resolution, not really lower resolution, but more 8-bit-ish style. And then Flintlock is the one that we've been kind of waiting for.
Mhm.
They got pushed back from last year.
Death Must Die is already out though, I think, isn't it?
It's out for PC, I
PC.
think. I don't know
Okay.
if it's out for console yet.
Right on. Yeah, Flintlock, it looks pretty crazy. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then there's some games that are already available that were shown: Broken Roads, Brotato, Dyson Sphere Program, My Time at Sandrock, Pal World update. They're bringing new pals. And then there's the Arena, Raven's
Mhm.
Watch, Fall of Avalon, Risk of Rain 2, and then Vampire Survivors Operation Guns DLC, which we saw a trailer for that before at one of the other shows recently, and that's like they have like Contra and stuff, like tie-in content, looks pretty sick. Vampire Survivors is another game that's just keeps doing well, and they keep updating it, and tons of people still play. Yeah, the Jackbox Naughty Pack. I wonder if that's going to be
Put the kids to
censored.
bed and yeah, no, it probably won't be censored, but it's like it's definitely going to be one. All right, send the kids to bed, and all the adults get to play. And
It's gonna
I
sell
don't know.
7 million copies.
Let's go. Dude, people love the Jackbox shit. I remember when I first
Yeah.
started streaming, like quite a bit here, people would always be like, do Jackbox, do Jackbox, do Jackbox,
Mhm.
because they want to participate in the stream and play the games with you, and it's pretty fun, dude. I don't know if you've done Jackbox streams before, Bob, but you can have some
Oh,
good fun.
I used to do a lot of Jackbox. I also had the worst Discord troll ever because of it, and then that's when I quit. But yeah, I did Jackbox for a while, but then I saw unspeakable things in my Discord because of it also, so I cooled on that.
Right. So this says Jackbox Naughty Pack is an intimate pack of 3 games that are sure to have you laughing and maybe even sweating just a little. Oof.
Ooh,
Oh, hold
sweat
on.
with your friends.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
The
the-
PlayStation gamers gonna get it day one.
I mean, I don't know how I can sweat anymore. I just spent so much time playing Stellar Blade.
Sign the petition.
This title is coming to Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S later this year, with individual games to be revealed later this summer. This will be Jackbox's first M for mature game, full of spicy surprises and maybe even some familiar faces. This is one that Kate will probably be interested in. She likes the Jackbox games, and like tell her that there's like, adult themed ones. She'll probably be into this.
She likes spicy things like habaneros, ghost peppers.
She likes to, if we get like board games at the store, she likes to find the like adult versions of them, like Late Night Family Feud, or
She's
whatever.
signing the Stellar Blade petition.
Yeah, or Naughty Family Feud, or it's or like with like Cards Against Humanity, obviously, like they have like tons of packs for that and shit like that.
Yeah,
we got
the bigger, blacker box.
yeah, exactly. Key Locker, developer Moonana Games, another Serenity Forge publisher. I saw this one too. It looked pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It says Key Locker is a bizarre and colorful turn-based rhythm JRPG. You play as the singer and songwriter Bobo and take down a despotic regime that has outlawed all sound. Okay.
It definitely looked pretty cool.
art style
like
is sick.
following around a jukebox and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. Then there's a lot of games, bro. This one stood out to me a little bit. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage. As from Don't Nod, Montreal. Is announced for Series X and S and PC.
The art style for that looked pretty cool.
Yeah. It was weird. It was like I was trying to piece together what the game was based on the trailer, but it was like all these like normal moments, but then something was off.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's what the theme was. Like there was like, oh, this is a normal scene, but then there's something off about it, right? The normal scene, then there's something off about it, right? And it just kind of made this like weird vibe.
It was ominous for sure.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. It says it's a narrative adventure game.
I was going to say it kind of reminded me of like Life is Strange meets Five Nights at Freddy's or something.
Right. Yeah. It says set in a fictional town of Velvet Cove. 4 high school friends spend the summer together hanging out, playing music, and becoming best friends until something changes the trajectory of all their lives. After 27 years of silence between them, they reunite to confront the dark secrets that made them promise to never speak again.
It's got like It vibes.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah.
I can't do It. No clowns, please.
Pennyface.
Power World was shown again, obviously. We already mentioned that. You have Promise Mascot Agency. This was a world premiere.
Yeah. It was strange. Definitely a little different.
I don't remember seeing this one. I'm looking at the box art or the cover for it right now, or the marketing image, whatever you want to call it, and it looks fucking weird. Yeah. So there's that one. It says recruit and train a variety of mascot friends, help them out when jobs are inevitably met with disaster. Solve the mystery of your exile from the Yakuza. Okay. Then there's Stampede Racing Royale. This is it like looks like a kart racer, but like a Royale
60 player.
60 player kart racer. Interesting. That's one that would be cool for Game Pass, but it's not for Game Pass. Okay, this game stood out to me. This next one, Sulfur.
Yeah.
It
looked cool.
It looked like a huge open world shooter, like RPG, with like kind of toned down retro-ish style graphics a little bit, but the
Doom vibes.
yeah, but the gunplay and the vibe of it looked really fun. It says it's a roguelike extraction shooter with modifiable and enchantable guns.
Oh, that sounds fun.
It says, welcome to a modern old school action adventure. Outsmart enemies, find treasure, improve weapons, harness powers, delve deeper, find answers, make it end. The gunplay, the gameplay on this just looked really, really, really solid to me. So keep your eyes on Sulfur. It's coming to Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. Developed by Perfect Random. Let's see. Did you see Sulfur, Fuzz?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. That one definitely had my attention because the roguelike aspect of it with guns, I think, is like a cool concept. And then the art style was pretty cool. But
yeah,
it just looked like it's a ton of fun just shooting like I guess you could say the Grim Reaper looking things and other little devil half monster looking things. So yeah, it looks like nightmare fuel, but not so much nightmarish.
Yeah, that's definitely one that I'm gonna try and remember. The thing about these indie shows, they show so many damn games, and mixed with these other showcases we've already had, by the time that sometimes these games come out, I just completely forgot that I ever even saw them. And you scroll through the store and like, I don't remember that whatsoever, you know? But I'm going to really try and remember that I saw this game, because when I was watching it, I was like, that looks like fucking fun. And I want to play it. All right. We have, next one was Tales of Iron 2, Whiskers of Winter. A sequel to the indie sort of hit Tales of Iron 1. And it's you play as a mouse or rat or something, and it's kind of like a side scroller RPG from what I remember on the first one. And then the next one is Times and Galaxy. I don't remember this.
Just it was strange. It was a lot of text, and it seems like you're dealing with aliens, and I don't know if you're selling them stuff or you're trying to. It just was weird. It was almost like an old RPG, a lot of text. It looked like aliens, and you were either making them happy or mad or something each time you would talk to them. It was completely strange. Like I very colorful, but
Yeah.
strange. Like I lost track of what
Was
was
that
going on.
neon one?
Yeah.
Kind of like, and
So
it showed a cat a couple of times, and it showed like weird creature things. Yeah, and then the robot that was looked like it was a cat robot standing upright or something.
this is the description. It says meet over 100 alien weirdos in Times and Galaxy, a space journalism adventure coming to Xbox in June. Times and Galaxy is a funny, heartfelt game about space aliens and the richness of the stories that make up their everyday lives. Set in a solar system full of strange beings, from space lizards to goo people, you will step into the shoes of a shiny new robo intern for the system's most trusted holopaper, the Times and Galaxy. Your goal: prove that robos can report, get to know a whole bunch of aliens, and maybe keep your job at the end of it all. Good luck, intern.
That's a good explanation. So yeah, I don't know if it's a game for me, but it definitely something. It looks like it'll be something that some people will enjoy and experience. So we'll see. I think, is that one Game Pass or no?
No, it doesn't say Game Pass. I do have a question sometimes when I see some of these indie games. Like, because I always thought about, like, if I could make my game, what would I make? You know? Some of these games, like, I just wonder where the fuck these ideas come from. Like, all this time you've been trying to come up with a game that you're really passionate about and you want to make, and you think that people are going to like, and the indie community is really original with a lot of their stuff, right? Yeah. Like, how do you come up with a robot journalist going around to prove that you can be a journalist by interviewing different kinds of aliens? Like, where does that inspiration come from? I guess this would be a question for the developer themselves. Like, if I could interview Fellow Traveler, the publisher, and the developer Copy Chaser, or I guess Copy Chaser Games is the developer, I would just look them in the face and I would straight up say, why? Like, where did this come from? Now, I'm not saying it's going to be bad. It could be amazing, right? But it's just like, who thinks of this stuff? It's crazy sometimes you see these games, man. But that's why they're creators and they're original, right? Vampire Survivors, also, I mentioned that. Laboratory update is out now. And that's also, as you know, the Vampire Survivors is on Game Pass. So, that was the indie show. Like I said, there wasn't any, like, wow, like they didn't have like Hades 2 here, or they didn't have like Hollow Knight Silk Song or anything like that, right? If they are going to showcase those, I'm guessing that maybe they'll do it at the summer show, because they'll have a couple indies there replaced, you know. But overall, there's a lot of shit that looks fun to play, and another good show with a lot of games coming to Game Pass as well. So, yeah. I'm curious what you guys, if you watched it in the chat, did IGN ruin it for you? Or overall, did you find stuff you wanted to play at the ID at Xbox? Did you actually watch the whole thing, both of you?
Yeah.
Did you actually enjoy the show, or you felt like it was worthwhile having it, or?
We cut it off before the actual gameplay portions, but I mean, they could have just like shown the trailers, honestly. Like, that's basically what it was, with a bunch of advertisements and corny jokes tacked on. Like the hosts like didn't really add a bunch to it, and it's definitely a strange partnership for Microsoft to make for a show like this.
Yeah, it is weird why they didn't just have it themselves. What about you, Fuzz? Did you feel like it was worthwhile them doing it that way? Or?
My biggest critique is the whole IGN integration. Like, like you said earlier, Tina Amini, who used to be
Yeah.
at IGN, I think is like probably their best hire of recent when it comes to anything showcase related type of deal. So I feel it would have been a better use of time. But then again, she might already be doing the planning for the June
Yeah.
showcase and couldn't get the time to do that. But it was a great list of games. I think I gave it like a 7. But the only reason why I think I gave it a 7 is because some of the more exciting games out of it we've already seen. That's not that big of a deal. But the big thing for me was the talent that they used to announce the games. It it
They didn't give a shit about these
I'm,
games.
I'm, I'm
Like,
yeah, I'm not. I'm probably not the best person to put in front of a camera, but like I guarantee you, I'm not going to be that cringy. I guarantee you, I'm not going to give you
yeah.
diabetes talking about games or coming up with lame retorts like, "Oh, you want we're going to tease this game? Why would you tease a game?" Like, no, no. Like, whoever wrote that, they should have just balled it up in front of them and threw it in the trash can and say, "Get back to work," kind of thing, and you know, started a new script. Like, mm,
Yeah.
I'd rather scratch nails on a chalkboard than watch the like total of 5 minutes of watching the hosts that they had. No, take away the hosts, I'll bump it up to an 8 at least. But those hosts, they definitely killed a couple points on that score.
Yeah. And maybe it was Tina Amini's idea to use IGN. Could have been.
Yeah, be like, hey, see how much we've improved over, these guys. Yeah,
I don't know. Like, it's I will say that it's presented better than the Twitch ones that they did before for the indie stuff.
Yeah.
Because those were the worst. Like, I'm talking about the ones they had like 3 years ago, right? Where they had like
Mhm.
5-hour shows they took like these long breaks in the middle of it. They would do like the trailer, then they would like sit down and have like a 10-minute interview with the developer, and then they would like those were like just really hard to sit through and watch.
Yeah.
This was at least like had a little bit better pacing with the main portion of it, and they left the other segments for like after, right? So, for the most part, so that was, I guess, an improvement in that way. But overall, I think Xbox should just do this shit in house and not give it to
Yes.
other people. I can't really rate it because I just kind of casually watched it. The things that jumped off to me, I paid more attention to. But overall, there was not anything that was like amazing to me. But Summer Show, I think, was where we're gonna see that stuff. Sulfur, that's the one that kind of more so than the others jumped off the page.
Yeah, I have to admit I don't really like as much as I enjoy indie games, I don't necessarily because I feel like this type of show is kind of like giving them like the AAA treatment, which is
Yeah,
great for the studios and everything. And I do feel like it's a good roundup to like make sure that like the standouts can get seen and like get some hype brewing around them. But it like for me personally, like I don't like it's kind of hard for me to like keep up with everything that I do keep up with already
yeah,
that like indie games I don't really because a lot of the indie games like aren't really a style of game that I really like to play. Like they're like definitely anything that's interesting or like moves things forward or adds to the gaming industry as a whole. Like I definitely enjoy when it comes out, but I usually wait until like it kind of rises to the top before I pay much attention to it.
yeah,
Aside from like tracking it like super closely, so I didn't even I didn't even realize it was coming up this quick, to be honest.
yeah. It won't be long. I mean, really, for the next 6 weeks, Xbox has Hellblade 2 coming out. Then they have the showcase. So I
Yeah,
feel like there's going to be like kind of a shift in momentum of conversation happening soon. This kind of starts a little bit of that. And then we'll also have the other showcases that are going to be happening around there, which you never know what's going to be shown. But yeah, we're about to be on the cusp of like a really busy game news season, with
right.
big games and big announcements and big showings and big game releases and all this kind of stuff. So I'm kind of like something like this. I'm just like, hey, this is cool to get this out of the way now. Kind of put an
Yeah,
extra little highlight on them. Because there are games that I didn't really know about before that have a little bit of my attention. And they also gave them a chance to announce that some of these games are coming to Game Pass, so they don't get lost in the shuffle later on, right?
Yeah.
Are we ready for tidbits, Fuzzy? I see you trying to mess with it.
Yeah, I think I will have it here in a few seconds.
Okay, well, I will roll into the intro. And this is going to be the last segment for our show tonight on episode 100 of FSP. It's called... This is Tidbits, the segment where we look ahead at the games releasing for the week. Thanks to everybody for watching our show. And yeah, we just got done running through a lot of indie games that were shown at the Indie Showcase, but we are now focusing on what's actually launching tonight, the next night after that. All this week, there's some decent stuff this week, I think. So let's take a look at it.
Right, how do I make it the big screen for everybody, or do I need to?
I don't think you need to. I think it's there for me.
Okay. All right.
I'm rewinding it there. There we go. Oop. First one is Braid Anniversary Edition.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Now, this one came out originally in 2008, but this is like a complete remaster, upgrade of visuals. Comes out Tuesday.
Yeah, it looks so
believe it's
real
priced
now.
at- Yeah. I believe this one is on sale for $15.99. Normal price would be like $19.99, but it's on sale, like at least on Steam right now, $15.99. But it's coming to
Yeah.
PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, all kinds of PCs, including Mac and Linux-based PCs, as well as mobile, both Android and iOS. So this thing is coming everywhere.
They're covering it all.
This was with Jonathan Blow, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Sounds right.
Like I remember, like he lost his shit on Xbox or something, and like I really pissed at them for some reason. I can't remember what. Did we just watch this, or is it doing the braid thing where it's doing
I think it's doing the braid thing. I just had the same thought.
I don't know. I'm getting tripped out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's rewinding some of the. This is like the live action
doing the
stuff.
braid.
Here it goes.
Oh, that looks cool.
I think I accidentally took some of Psycho's acid.
Yeah.
I remember Braid. It was a big Xbox Live Arcade hit.
Yeah, it was huge. Man, that looks really cool though.
And now it'll show you
We are
the
happy to
improvements.
announce Braid Anniversary Edition. It's the classic puzzle adventure where you manipulate time, hand repainted for modern high resolutions.
Many areas have been re-envisioned to make them more unique, and it's even more like a living painting with brushstrokes animating the world. There are more than 9 pixels for each pixel in the original
To be
game.
fair, this
There are
is
new
like the
animations for
perfect
smoother
way to
motion.
do a remaster.
Yeah.
Like have
Yeah.
that amount of time from when it originally released to the time you
Right.
do a remaster.
Not 3 years.
It's been
and visual
it's
No,
been 3
no.
years. Let's remaster. I was going to say that exact same time frame. I really like the brush strokes though too. That's super cool to look at.
Will be a
Yeah.
really good resource.
We hope you'll enjoy the game when it comes out early next year.
Because yeah, you
Yeah,
can see him
originally-
moving.
Well, they're a little late. It said 2021. It's 2024.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
They hit the 15th anniversary.
All right, this is Front Mission 2 Remake.
Ooh, nice.
Price at $39.99, coming to PS4 and 5, Xbox One, Series X and S, as well as PC. Coming out Tuesday.
We need more mech games.
Yeah.
I just don't like RTSs that much.
Oh, what's wrong with you, Bob? Come on.
I don't know. I just never get into them that much.
Boom. Front Mission 2, April 30th, 2024. I might want to play that.
This next one is Sea of Thieves coming to PS5 this Tuesday.
I am so
Retail
curious
edition.
how this is going to do on PlayStation.
Oh, well, did you see the Metacritic earlier today?
What was it?
I think it's 85 compared to they leave the old Metacritic for PC and Xbox at like 67 and 69.
Nice.
But it's like 85 on PS5, so yeah.
I think they might revisit it at some point.
Includes everything from the deluxe edition, plus the Dark Warsmith ship set.
I need to get back in this game. It's so amazing, dude.
Yeah. We need to get a crew together.
Purchasing any edition of Sea of
See,
Thieves
now you can have
also
true
grants you
console
access to a
wars on the seas in
Yes.
Sea of
digital
Thieves.
goodies, including the Athena's Fortune audiobook.
Is that
the
a
latest
PlayStation
Sea
ship?
of Thieves original soundtrack,
Everybody,
and the rough
everybody
guide
attack the
Sea of
PlayStation
Thieves
ships.
ebook.
No, just
Just
kidding.
put like a pony icon on the sails.
Eager to get out of the thieves. There are boatloads
Do we get
of
a beta
pre-order
tester badge?
bonuses. Pre-order any edition of Sea of Thieves, and you'll get the Ruby Viper
Oh
weapons.
man.
The
That's a good
Scarlet
one.
Storm Parakeet, and 2
They'll have like an
Parakeet
85 on their sails, and we'll have like a
Not only that,
67.
but you'll also guarantee
Yeah.
your access to the
We wear
PlayStation
that
5
67 with
post-beta.
pride, brother.
And if you
Sea of
pre-order
Thieves
the
67
premium
edition.
you'll also
We
get the
we
Season
sailed
12
these seas when there was nothing here.
5 days
Nothing doing.
early
Dig
access
up
to the
chests
full
and
game.
put your friends in the brig.
We built this world. You're just living in it.
Pre-order Sea of Thieves for PlayStation 5 today.
I would love to see like the Xbox community, like with all the pirate, what do they call the pirate legends or whatever?
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like just act-
rolling up on PlayStation.
Act like they're helping the PlayStation guys, but just lead them to their doom.
I feel like some of that is gonna happen.
Probably.
It'll be all in good fun.
We're missing the next one for some
Yeah.
reason.
Wait, what? Why the Wait, no. Wait, why is it not?
Sea of
Oh, we're
Thieves
doing
is
a braid.
Sea of Thieves is setting sail for
Where is
PlayStation
that
5,
list?
and as well as our
It's all right. I don't mind watching this
there are
again.
2 more incredible additions to choose
But no, they
from.
really did add quite a
The
bit
deluxe
to it.
edition
I do
includes a
feel like
selection of
it's time to
stunning
get back
ocean
into
crawler
it.
Yeah.
cosmetics.
It is.
Collector's
The-
thunderous
The best part
fury
is we can play it as part of Game
figure-headed
Pass.
There we go. Endless Ocean Luminous.
Yes. Coming to the Switch this Thursday at $49.99.
$50.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay.
You see that wildlife though? That's $50, brother.
And if this is a game played natively, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah.
For a Switch title, yeah. They're really pushing that that Snapdragon.
I'll wait for Switch 2.
Yeah.
This probably runs at like 5 frames per second.
Yeah. Yeah. Looks a little shaky.
Endless Ocean game.
Like I got the stop motion version. What's going on?
Thanks, Froggy.
The location known to very
It's a
few
flip
people.
book edition.
This
Mhm.
unexplored region changes with each
To draw your
day,
own adventure book.
offering new things. to
It's not
discover.
claymation. It's just looks
Up
like
to
it.
30 players online can plunge into the ocean's
30
So
depths.
use
players.
your-
Wow.
Oh wow,
Share your
that looks cool.
discoveries with other
Nintendo has more
divers.
games of service than PlayStation
An
does.
exchange of friendly greeting while
It's a
freely
use your
exploring the
imagination.
vast ocean.
Give people your social security number. You can play with them online on Nintendo. The-
There
Your
are
Nintendo
over
social.
500 different
Wow.
species of marine life to encounter.
Wonder if they overhaul that
Some
for
of
Switch 2.
them are
Oh, God, I hope
creatures
so.
thought to be extinct,
The friend code
And
thing
others?
is
maybe mythical.
Yeah, it just feels
pretty,
that
man.
definitely feels outdated.
yeah.
Looks like a Dreamcast
What will
game.
you find begin
Yeah, it does,
your
dude.
undersea
You're right.
journey.
Yeah.
Endless Ocean Luminous launches on the Nintendo Switch system May 2nd.
Why do I want to play that?
Pre-orders begin today on Nintendo eShop.
I really do.
It looks like it's a relaxing, chill and explore the seas kind of thing. Undersea.
It's not anywhere else. It's only on Nintendo.
Tell you, running
Yeah,
to
just
Leo
on the Switch.
Floridon, dog.
Fuck, man.
Now this one's called Indica, coming to PS5, Series X and S, and PC this Thursday for, I believe, $29.99. They don't have official pricing listed. They all have it just where it says wish list, but looks like this will be like a $30 launch title kind of thing.
Brilliant.
Does it also have 30-player co-op?
No. I think this is like some sort of like
Oh, I remember seeing this game.
single player
before.
horror story /
Is this the one with the nun?
Well,
Yeah.
she's a nun.
Yeah.
A rather plain one, if you ask me.
I always wanted to play as a plain nun. What was with the weird jazz music in the middle?
Works hard.
That was like a, this is me, pause.
Miles Teller from Whiplash just made an appearance.
Yeah, with the, yeah.
On top of that,
We're going to take shots from all of our favorite directors, and we're just going to put them all in the game.
she even finds some time to chat with, what do you call it? Shot.
Oh, she just looked at us. We were
Oh,
breaking the fourth wall.
ominous.
Poor girl.
She's smoking a
It
blunt
looks-
Of
as a
all
joint.
Blaze up.
boring
Yes.
places.
That's a naughty nun.
Why do you want to go to it?
They gonna censor that on PlayStation?
It's getting jazzy.
Maybe outside the US they might.
Was that a fucking trombone?
It did look like one.
That was. I'm sold, bro. Indica.
Blazing up.
Jazz and
Right, this-
pot smoking nuns play Indica.
Have you ever
This
wanted
next
to
one
be a
is
pot
Madison.
smoking nun?
I'm into PSVR 2. I think we saw this trailer earlier in the year when it was just coming to PS5. Now it's coming to PSVR 2.
I thought that was one of y'all breathing for a second. I was like,
Got that psycho mic discipline.
yeah. Dude, when you're in a party chat with Psycho, it's fucking hilarious sometimes. Owie.
Ow! Is this that SpongeBob song?
Tiptoe through the window, oh, tiptoe through the window tonight. Oh.
All right, this next one is MotoGP 24. Coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X and S,
When you
as
think
well
you
as
know
Switch
all the tracks,
and PC.
but you don't.
$49.99 this Thursday.
Oh, it's restarted. I have not played a motorcycle racing game since like
When you
the
think
Super
you know all the
Nintendo.
tracks, but you don't. When you have friendly bonds, but then the lights
I mean,
go
this title has been one of those
When
that
you think
it
you're
looks
the
so
first,
real.
but
It's just a
not
matter
over
of
yet.
I can't get with the
When you
balancing
know
as much
reality
as I would
has
like.
rules,
Yeah.
but rules
point where
are
it's
meant
like-
to be broken.
I think maybe it's the fact that I haven't ridden a motorcycle ever because I've been scared out of my wits because of friends that I've had issues with motorcycles. But yeah,
It only
too
happens
much acceleration,
are
lift
fun,
the
though.
front wheel up, and that's not good in the turn. Or
Yeah.
hitting the brakes in the turn.
I don't like motorcycles because I'm always the guy that ends up next to the people that are doing wheelies on the highway, you know, and I'm like, they just make me nervous, bro. Like, I just know one's gonna fall off and run over them.
Yeah.
largest mountain in the world.
This is Surmount, I believe.
Face of this mountain and reach its peak.
Coming to Switch and
Though that
PC
certainly doesn't stop
on
climbers from
Thursday
trying.
for $14.99.
Though that
A lot of
certainly doesn't
mountain
stop
climbing
climbers from
games
trying.
lately.
You need to give it your all to have any chance of
I
reaching
still
the
like
top.
Jusant on like
can even bring
Xbox.
a
Came to
friend.
Game Pass not too long ago, but
Yeah.
Results may
this
vary.
one looks like it'd be
And
kind of
the
like a
first
silly,
you have to
fun
see,
one
try
as
using
far as
some
with the
rope,
co-op
or
aspect.
even a
Yeah.
rocket.
Yeah.
Or you can
Yeah,
just improve
I
your
tried to
climbing
get
skills.
into Jusant, but I couldn't quite do
And
it.
if you ever need a break,
I got
Rangers
stuck in
Pines,
one part
the
and I
small,
just said,
cozy town of
fuck
Newtony
it.
is right at the base of the mountain.
Yeah.
While you're there,
Yeah, I
you
think
can
I'm
meet
at the
other
halfway
climbers,
point.
hang
It's
out
like
with
the
other
s-
folk, and help out around town.
It's like the Souls game.
Or just go shopping.
You get to that one
Maybe along the
part,
way,
and it's like,
you'll
nope.
uncover the mysteries surrounding Mount Ohm.
I think after you
free yourself
start
to the
learning how to
top,
grow
and
the
enjoy your
flowers
stay
or
at Newtony
vines,
with
there's like a
Zermatt
part
Farms
where
PC and Switch.
something either cuts them or the sun burns them or something, and they
Yeah.
don't last as long. Like that part, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna take a break from it. But
Yeah, I didn't get that
that's
far.
it for this
I'm
week.
Yeah,
glad-
it was pretty chill though.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think the big one is Sea of Thieves for PlayStation. It's a huge release for PlayStation, giving them a multiplayer game for once. Then you have Endless Ocean on the Switch. For me, I think Front Mission 2, I could actually get into that potentially. I just don't know if I want to spend $40 on it. Some of these games, like, I just would rather wait and pay $5 when it's in one of those really crazy
Yeah.
sales, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, other than that, like, I don't know. Really not
Little
anything
GP looks
crazy.
cool, but I suck at the physics of it. That's the only drawback.
Yeah.
But not a bad week, but yeah, PlayStation guys finally get to sail the seven seas.
Well, do you think there'll be a resurgence to Sea of Thieves on Xbox because of the PlayStation launch?
I think
I think so initially, because either the Xbox guys will have friends that were on PlayStation and they'll try to like carry
Yeah.
them through or show them the ropes, or it's going to be like you said earlier, they'll act like they're going to show them the ropes and then like set them up
Yeah.
for failure and sink their shit.
Invite them
steal
and
their
just
treasure.
vote them into the brig the whole time.
Yeah. So it could be some fun times, but I'm waiting for the community console war nights.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, a fleet, because I think you can in some modes do that whole like fleet battle kind of thing. But or is that, I think they just have that in the arena.
Right.
But that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
I
It's
know.
blue versus green.
Yeah. I know a lot of like Xbox guys like just hate the idea of PlayStation users getting to play Sea of Thieves, right? For me personally, I think it's pretty fucking cool. Like these multiplayer games, I like when more people get to play because it just makes the community bigger and more interesting, you know? So I hope it has success. I hope it doesn't have enough success for the Xbox to say, hey, we need to make all of our games non-exclusive. But even if that happened, I wouldn't personally care too much. But overall, I think Sea of Thieves is an interesting one to do. And I think that game is a special game. And we'll see how the PlayStation community reacts to it. I know it's been like pre-ordered quite a bit or like on there already. So, but yeah, PC community has been strong on it since launch and been building ever since then. Xbox community is still strong with Sea of Thieves. Brand new community coming into it, and lots of fun to be had for sure. Mick Marston's can't wait to see Everwild. I know Rare is cooking. Yeah, we'll see it at some point.
Same.
No clue what the fuck it is. But what we've seen is beautiful.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They got that new barn office, so yeah. Plenty of space now to work on Everwild.
That post, man. I know it's Earth Day or whatever, but like you have this game that we haven't heard about or seen for forever, and then you're putting your game on PlayStation. That's the other latest news. And then I was not expecting the next big reveal we had from Rare to be a fucking barn. Like, I don't know. It's cool and all, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, tell us the game you're making in that barn.
Yeah. Like if they had showed like while they're walking through every screen, like quickly
Yeah.
has a glimpse of like Everwild, then I'd be like, oh wait, oh okay, so this was all for Everwild. They needed more space.
Over here on the left, you'll see all of our horse shit. We got all this horse shit over here. We use it to grow our flowers for our barn. Over here we just newly acquired 1 million ponies. We have them over here on this other side of the barn. Yeah, this is a completely green environment. It's really awesome here. Everything we spent 10 years and $100 million making this barn, and we still can't figure out what the fuck Everwild is. We'll figure it out eventually, everybody. Anyway, this has been the 100th episode of Fun Speculation Podcast. I hope you all enjoyed the show, and I want to thank everybody here in the community for being here tonight and for all of our shows. Again, this was the third show now that we've hit 100, so it means a lot to be able to say that. And we'll see Xbox Ultimate will be the next milestone. It'll hit 200 eventually, and we'll see you guys for that milestone also. But it's been a fun show tonight, guys. Shout out to Psycho, thanks for coming through. And I hope you have a good day at work tomorrow. Shout out to Jasper, who's asleep right now because it's past his bedtime. Shout out to 3-Bit, who's moving again for the millionth time. So we had fun tonight with this panel. And thanks, Bob, for joining us on a Monday. Appreciate you, dude. Tell everybody where they can find you, sir.
Yeah, it was good to be here. Congratulations on 100 episodes. Definitely gonna try and stop in more often on Mondays and not just Fridays, especially with more comedy going on. But
yeah,
if you guys want to follow my antics, sometimes I talk about gaming, sometimes it's comedy, sometimes I'm knocking soccer balls out of trees. You can follow me on Twitter. You can also follow me on Instagram. I even have my own YouTube channel that if you enjoy the way I talk about things, that I make comedic and also commentary content about Xbox and otherwise on my Game Pass Dad YouTube channel. I also stream on Twitch Wednesdays and weekends, usually at 10 p.m. Lately, Sundays have been the main day, but that is the normal schedule. So if you guys want to follow me over there, that's much appreciated. But again, thank you for letting me be part of the conversation. Thank you, everyone in chat, for keeping the conversation going as well. And smash that like button and leave a comment and share the podcast with your friends, because Mav and Fuzzy and everyone else that's here on a regular basis does a great job, and always enjoy having a conversation with them and let me be a part of it.
Thanks, man. You're awesome, Bob.
Thank you. You're awesome.
Fuzzy Belvedere. Tell everybody where they can find you in your million podcast.
It was awesome being on here with you guys. Shout out to Psychonauts. Have a great day tomorrow. I know you got to get up extra early and stuff, but always great when we have Game Pass Dad with us. And reaching 100 episodes, man, this is amazing. Just love being on this podcast. Love being on this channel. Love being part of the family. And thanks to everybody here that checks us out week in, week out. Greatly appreciate you guys taking the time and interacting with us, asking questions, joking with us. Well, we haven't seen Smurf stuff lately, although I probably jinxed it, and probably they'll go back to Smurf stuff. But man, awesome show. For those that want to hear my rambles and rants, just follow me on the app, formerly known as Twitter at @Fuzzy_Belvedere. You can also find me in 3-Bit tomorrow on Pixelated Echoes at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Going to have Lord Cognito as well as Pong Soul on tomorrow, so definitely check that out. And then be right back here on this channel Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Xbox Ultimate. Hope to see you guys there. Thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, Fuzzy. Appreciate you. Shout out to everybody again in the chat. You guys rock. If you did like the content, hit the like button, share it out, sub, notification bell, all that kind of cool stuff. Greatly helps us grow. We'll be back Thursday for PM in the PM with Pong Soul and I, and then Friday night Xbox Ultimate podcast. And then you never know, might have a random stream or something crazy happens, a Mavcast or something like that. So keep your eyes open on Twitter on Fun Speculation, and you can see when we go live. Have a good one, everybody. Peace out. Take it easy.